Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast.
Yo, listen, this is the best Wrestling Alive Platinum match, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Nunzio, former WWE Cruiserweight Champion, and you're watching We Are Wrestling podcast.
We Are Wrestling podcast. Check them out, man.
Stay tuned, listen to the podcast. Best one, Donnie might teach you a thing or two.
Are wrestling. And if you don't listen to it, then it's one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Featuring your host, Best One Dog, Danny Huckins, Ring Circus, and Dan Ed. We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the We Are Wrestling Predictions Champion, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 or 1/4 of the We Are Wrestling podcast, whichever way you guys want to look at it, man. It's me and Donnie, man. We're running it back solo. You know, we're gonna be solo the next couple weeks, and it's almost like when we first started, you know, the We Are Wrestling talk show back in 2021, man, when it was just us before the Rager came on board, and then we obviously had Dan Eddy, and we're just growing and expanding. But it's cool to kick it old schools once in a while. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And Rage, guys, will not be with us for the next couple weeks because he is traveling. He, I believe right now, is out in Ohio, and soon he's going to be going out to LA.
Those towns, brother. He's got to make those.
He's making those towns with Riker Road, so he's on the road right now with him. But Danny and I, we got you guys covered with wrestling news, and we're officially on the road to WrestleMania. There's no more Elimination Chamber, which means there's going to be lots of juicy topics to talk about, and that's what Danny and I are going to be doing this week on We Are Wrestling Podcast, episode 198. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already and you're listening to this episode wherever you get your podcast, please leave us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download this episode and all the other episodes before this. If you're not following We Are Wrestling over on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, go give us a follow on there. Really helps We Are Wrestling grow. We like to post daily wrestling news, clips from our show, and of course, other podcasts as well to keep you guys up to date. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already over on the YouTube channel where you can catch these episodes of the podcast live every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get the best pro wrestling content, reactions to the weekly shows, live watch-alongs for all the WWE PLEs and AEW pay-per-views, sometimes even the specials, vlogs, videos, lots of pro wrestling videos, and you're not a part of the thousands, close to 8,000 subscribers. We recommend you guys to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course, you already know the grind is real.
Very fitting for who was ultimately the winner in the main event on Saturday night, man.
For real. And he is officially going to be going for the championship at WrestleMania. But to let the We Are Wrestling Maniacs know, I think we got the live chat. It's all fixed, so there's no excuses. We want to see you guys throughout the stream interacting with us because we love to interact with you awesome people. But let's go over the lineup for this week's episode of the talk show. Wow. See, we're throwing it back. I'm bringing up talk.
Throwing it back.
This is a podcast now.
Yeah, man. This is like an old school episode of Monday Night Raw where they have all the retro graphics and stuff like that from the 90s.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to be talking about some new champions this week. Of course, the CM Punk versus Roman Reigns World War II And then, of course, we got to talk about Trick Williams possibly turning babyface and his possible opponent for WrestleMania 42. Ring of Honor getting a fresh coat of paint. Top independent star TNA's interested in. Time changes for WrestleMania. And, of course, some updates on the possible Fatal 4-Way match turning into 2 single matches. And then for our Getting Put Over segment, we're going to be putting over the War Machine. Gore, gore, gore. Rhino. And then our main event for this week's episode of the pod will be WWE Elimination Chamber review. And of course, we'll be talking about who everybody's talking about right now, and that is the new WWE signee, Danhausen.
You've been cursed.
You have been cursed if you don't hit that subscribe button now and turn on the post notifications. Or if you're listening, if you're not following us already and giving us those 5-star reviews, you have been cursed. So how's your week been?
My week's been good. I do want to, let the audience know, whatever, those of you that last week we had some issues with like the YouTube chat, a lot of your messages or whatever were not being shown. We are also live. If you have any issues whatsoever typing in the chat on YouTube, it's unfortunately not something that, we have control over. We're also live on our Facebook page. So you can go to We Are Wrestling Facebook, hit the follow button on there, and you'll be able to interact with us on there. So
yeah, which is why I wanted to turn the live on for Facebook, just in case there was any issues with the YouTube live, just so the Maniacs can get their voices and let them be heard. But we got some Maniacs here that we do want to show some love. Alex Johnson, what's up, everybody? I acknowledge Donnie as my tribal chief. Well, I acknowledge you, Alex Johnson.
Again, man, my name has an A and a Y in it. That's not how it's spelled. I'm gonna let it slide.
We got Bradley here. We Are Wrestling member. We appreciate all the members that are a part of the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. What's up, everyone? I am ready. Well, I hope you are. Josh Toy Show. What's up, Donnie and Danny? What's going on, Josh?
What's going on, bro?
Hope you're doing good, man. Can't wait to see you at the big event in a couple weeks. Alex Johnson, what's your opinion on the Rhea and Jade drama? Well, we might as well answer that real quick.
I don't know much about like what's going on. Like I've heard that there was like a bunch of like Twitter beef. Like I don't go on Twitter like that. Like I obviously have one. I'm active on there, when I have something to say or whatever. But I'm not one of those dudes that just doom scrolls on Twitter. And I don't follow like any pro wrestlers on Twitter or nothing. So like, unless I come across on the timeline, I don't see it. I do know like I do know something about Jade Cargill saying that Rhea Ripley like politics to be in the position that she's in and this and that, whatever. And like there's a lot of women in the WWE that are coming to Rhea's defense on it. And like, apparently Jade is getting some heat backstage. Like that's as far as I know, like what's going on.
Yeah. And the reason why Jade Cargill is working with Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, we know the truth. It's happening because Rhea Ripley is the best women wrestler they have in their locker room. And that's why they have to put her in that match with Jade Cargill, because they don't want to expose how awful she is in the ring. And if there's anybody that can give her a good match, it's Rhea Ripley.
Exactly. They won. Obviously, they did. Like the going plan was.
I'm so over Jade Cargill.
Yeah, the going plan was several months ago, though, to have Jade versus Bianca. Unfortunately, with Bianca's injury, who would have known that having an injured or a broken finger would keep you out an entire year? Like, I mean, people tear their ACLs and they're not even out that long. So it's kind of crazy how physics work.
There must have been a lot of issues with like her nerves and stuff, because like I know a little bit about.
Apparently, she shattered her knuckle.
Yeah, because I know a little bit about broken fingers, because I did break and dislocate my finger back in like 2015 playing basketball. It fucking sucks. Absolutely sucks.
Did you have to have surgery, or did you just have like
luckily they were able to put it back into place. Luckily. So I was probably this close from a break.
They had to like fucking snap it back in place.
Yep.
Oh my god, man.
And then they also like had to like give me like a custom like splint, and like I would have to go to therapy like twice a week, and then like they would have to lower it. It was awful. And because the thing is, like, if you break your finger, it's better than like not breaking it, because if you don't break it, you have to basically like learn how to use it again. And that's pretty much like what happened. So I feel for Jade. Oh, look at that. We got another We Are Wrestling member here. In the
you mean you feel
chat.
for Bianca?
Bianca. Fuck Jade. Aya. Hey, y'all, what's going on, Aya? We appreciate you. Also sick of Jade Cargill. Who isn't sick of Jade Cargill?
Bro, I pretty much called it
Does
like when
Bianca
Jade
beat
Cargill,
Jade Dottie? Yes.
when Jade Cargill first came into WWE, you and Ben were fucking so like you were so hopeful that she was gonna, she was on ESPN, she was on fucking like all these news outlets or whatever. It was like a massive thing. Just to find out that she, can't wrestle.
Yeah,
I've never
but
heard of
honestly,
somebody.
yeah, but
Bro,
honestly, Danny,
she's worked for two of the
Danny,
top companies on the planet, and she
but
hasn't
honestly,
gotten an inch
but
better.
honestly, do you blame me for being
No.
excited with all the hype? Because Jade Cargill, let's be honest, the reason why I think a lot of us wrestling fans in the We Are Wrestling world and the IWC, of course, get upset with Jade Cargill is because she has it. She could talk on the mic. She has the look. She has the physique. She has the entrance. She has everything except one thing, and that's her in-ring ability. So I thought this is something that WWE could fix because they have a whole ass performance center. They have turned former athletes like Tiffany Stratton, Sol Ruka, into superstars. So you would think that they'd be able to do that with Jade Cargill, but instead, AEW did a great job at hiding the flaws. And that's why WWE immediately put her up to the main roster, and they had no choice because they put so much buzz, they put so much into her name that they just had no choice but to give her all this power. And it's not helping her one bit.
I'm hoping that if she does end up losing to Rhea at WrestleMania, which like I don't know if she's going to, but if she does, I'm hoping after Mania she gets taken out the main roster and put on NXT, because I feel like bro, like you have people like Soruk on NXT, you have people like JC Jane on NXT, Kalani Jordan, fucking Jada Parker, Ethan Page, like Blake Monroe, like all these people that are more than capable of getting called up. Lola Vice, more than capable of getting called up. Like they're phenomenal athletes in the ring and they've proven themselves. But yet you have Jade Cargill, who's not better than any of them, who is currently your top female performer on SmackDown right now, which is kind of
how the hell can you be a world champion and not work more than 10 minutes? I don't understand.
How can you be a world champion and then go 100 days without defending your title?
But I do want to answer this real quick from Aya. Donnie, are you going to meet the Hardys? Yes, I am. I will be there at Zombie Hideout that day. I also will be a vendor, so I will be selling a bunch of figures and a bunch of other things as well there. So if you do see me, don't hesitate. Come say what's up. We got Joey Times here at the live chat. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing good. Josh J carries the titles like a kid carrying a toy title from Walmart figure aisle. Yeah, pretty much. Unfortunately, Chevy, you're not that late, buddy. You're here just in time. We haven't gotten to any of the topics, and we will in just a moment. And James All Day thinks Elimination Chamber is dog shit. We're going to save that for last. We're going to talk about Elimination Chamber, the pros, the cons, all that good stuff. And look at that. We got a new maniac here. I've never seen him. Will Rallis, Sport 1. Chelsea Green is better in the ring than Jade. Facts. 100% facts. Chelsea Green is somebody that I believe all of us that are on the We Are Wrestling pod, myself, Danny, Rage, Dan Eddie, I think we all really love Chelsea Green.
And like
somebody
like
that
Chelsea,
we would love to see
WWE,
win the championship.
WWE does not showcase Chelsea Green like they should. If you really want to see the work ethic of Chelsea Green, go back to Lucha Underground and watch the match that she had with Penta. Like,
yeah, some of the stuff with Impact Wrestling too. She did some good work too.
Like you want to see Chelsea Green, like the kind of performer that she can be. WWE, like they're giving us maybe like 45% of like her abilities. You know what I mean? She's sort of like the more like the comic relief than an actual like, competitor.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Candice LeRae is better in the ring than Jade. Facts. That's also true too. But
you're in the UK. That's awesome, man. We have a lot of
that is cool.
UK.
Man, I love UK wrestling fans. I just want to put that out there. Like, you guys, when you have like AEW or WWE come to like your country, you shit on the United States.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
you have
awful.
You have to think like 90% of the time, the WWE or
so
AEW
much more
on the
passionate
road,
than us.
Like, yeah, but 90% of the time they're touring all around America. They only do like UK stops like maybe once or twice a year. So like
that is true.
I'm sure if the UK got as much pro wrestling from WWE and AEW as we do over here in America, I'm pretty sure like the hype would die down a little bit. So that I'm glad that they leave it sort of special.
No, us Americans are selfish and greedy. We'll take even the 2 times for granted. Come on.
You have to
now.
watch wrestling at 1 a.m. Well, I mean, I'm up around that time anyway, so I wouldn't necessarily mind. But
Raw cooked this week. I agree, Omar. But let me share my week because honestly, it's been very productive, very solid. I spent a lot of time over the weekend getting the Best One studio all cleaned up. I did a whole video on my toy page, Best One Donnie on YouTube, showing off a lot of the new changes I made. Probably spent about like 20 hours this weekend just cooking in here.
just cooking, man, like a
It's always
chef.
good to have a productive week. Always good. And I'm loving that this live chat is working because I see all the maniacs here. So thank you, YouTube, for fixing this problem for now. Hallelujah. Yeah, I was better on my trampoline, Bradley, than Jade Cargill was. Even when Danny like knocked my teeth down my throat, better than what Jade's doing.
Bro, you're making it kind of sounds kind of abusive, man. You gotta give context when you say stuff like that. And it wasn't your teeth; it was one tooth.
Yeah, it was one tooth. You're right. Sorry for burying you there, but let's get into the show. We might as well start off with the
You buried me like fucking CM Punk is gonna bury Roman Reigns next to his daddy.
Damn. All right, well, let's get into the power of the poll. If you guys want to be a part of this and let your voice be heard in the We Are Wrestling universe, all you have to do is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, go to our post every Wednesday morning. We're posting a new power of the poll, and we give you guys 1 week to vote. And this week, we asked you guys, what's the most iconic wrestling chant in the WWE of all time? And here are the results for this week's power of the poll. And the winner is Stone Cold's What? With 59% of you guys. And we do have a tie for second place with 17% each. Ric Flair, woo! And Kurt Angle's You Suck. And then with last place, Daniel Bryan's Yes Chant with 7%. Do we agree with the We Are Wrestling Maniacs on this one, Danny?
I do agree because like what is like since that started in like 2001, 2002, like it's been like people still chant it today. And like it gets to the point to where people even complain about it. It's become like what Jey Uso's yeet is, you know what I mean? To where like, you know, people in the arena love to do it, but people that watch on TV are like, oh my God, shut the hell up. You know what I mean? You don't really hear like the You Suck. You don't really hear like woo unless like it has something to do with Flair, you know, one of the Flairs or whatever. And the Yes chants, we heard that once within the last couple of years when Brie Bella showed up at the Rumble. So like, you know, what is a consistent thing on weekly TV, whether it's SmackDown, Raw, even NXT sometimes, like people say it. I think I'm pretty sure I've even heard it on an AEW show once. So like, you know, it fucking happens.
You hear it at the indies all the time as well.
Yeah,
like when an indie guy tries to talk like into like the shitty like mic, you always hear the crowd saying what. But also, I do feel like the woo should have gotten more love here. Like I know a lot of people aren't the biggest Ric Flair fans, but still to this day, like when you go to a show, like I was talking about last week when Ben was here giving his thoughts on the most iconic chant, like you hear one side of the arena, one person will just go woo, but then like you could hear from the other side of the arena, like yards away from us, doing the woo. And it's always a thing like before the shows start. And then even the chops, like you get chops in like all of wrestling and you hear the woo chant. Yeah. I don't know. I think the woo is more iconic than the what. And that might be a little bit of a hot take.
It might be a little bit of a hot take, but I mean,
but I can understand why the what chant did win.
Yeah.
I do understand that.
I'm actually surprised that the yes chants only got like 7%.
I'm surprised too.
What was bigger than the yes movement? You know what I mean? When Daniel Bryan was politicking to, you know, go to Mania for the WWE title and like, you know, all that stuff was crazy.
Oh, hold on a minute. It looks like somebody renewed their membership here.
Let's go. Angelo Rodriguez. Angelo Rodriguez.
Give me a hell yeah.
What?
Give me a hell yeah.
We appreciate you, Angelo, as always. We appreciate all the We Are Wrestling members. But I don't understand why the yes chant didn't get it as well, because it was also very iconic as well. But I don't know. Me personally, like if I were to pick my favorite iconic chant out of the four, it would be the "You Suck." Like I feel like the "You Suck" was awesome.
Maybe like the "What" chant is more noticeable. You know what I mean?
Ooh, hold on a minute. I want to ask the live chat right now because we have 11 people right now. I want you guys to tell us what's your favorite iconic chant of all time in wrestling. It could be any company, any chant. Put it down there. We'll share it before we move on.
Alex Johnson says, I kind of agree and I kind of don't agree because I hate the "What" chants during the program. Exactly, man. Like, see, it's becoming the Jey Uso Yeets. Like, people still chant "What" after all this time, but people are like, people in the arena love it, because it allows them to be interactive. People that watch on TV are like, shut the fuck up already.
James All Day, ECW is another iconic wrestling chant.
Yeah,
absolutely
that wasn't around.
true.
That wasn't around that long. You know what I mean? So
but anytime an ECW person shows up, like you always do hear the ECW chant.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's taken over to "What" chants. That is true. It is starting to take over that on WWE programming.
Yeah.
Omar, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, another iconic one.
So many iconic ones, man.
Angelo, I choose the woo because when you see the chops, all you think of is Ric Flair and you still say woo. Exactly. That's why I have Ric Flair. Woo! But guys, we appreciate all of because we gotten over 200 votes on these Power of the Polls, and they continue to go up and up. So I love that we get to do this. Next week's Power of the Poll is available now over in our community post. And we asked you guys, what's your favorite wrestling stable in the 2010s? And the four options you have are Bullet Club, Main Event Mafia, The Shield, or Undisputed Era. And I know there's a lot of stables and factions that are missing here. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like, where's the Wyatt family? Where's this? Where's that? I wanted to try to pick
DX.
Well, DX was the 2009 and obviously the 90s. But with the 2010s, I wanted to pick one outside, one of WWE's, one of NXT because Black and Gold NXT was iconic. One from New Japan, obviously Bullet Club. Nothing was bigger than that. And then, of course, one from TNA. So that we have different companies and different answers. But if you guys want to cast your vote, you could do that now. Go over to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, go to our post, and cast your vote. Let your voice be heard. Because guess what? If you don't vote, your opinion does not matter. Yeah. New Day is underrated. DX suck it. All right. Well, a couple things that we do want to talk about. We Are Wrestling Podcast 200. We're only a couple weeks away. We're bringing in former WWE superstar Zach Gowen. Just messaged him over the weekend, and he's looking forward to this episode and getting to hang out with you guys live. We're going to talk about his career. We're going to let you guys ask questions, and we're just going to have a good time with Zach Gowen. We're really hoping that this is a successful turnout so that we can start bringing in more wrestlers to the pod and try to switch it up. And then I think when we bring wrestlers in, that's when, with the wrestling news, we'll do extras either on a Tuesday or a Thursday. But Zach Gowen will be a part of the special We Are Wrestling Podcast episode 200. And then, of course,
it is going to be kind of exciting because I know we're gonna obviously be interviewing him and stuff like that, but I do want to kind of hear his thoughts on the road to WrestleMania so far.
Oh, we're going to talk about all that good stuff. But We Are Wrestling is unreal. We have brand new shirts available now on ProWrestlingTees.com. And I do see some of you We Are Wrestling Maniacs are buying some of the shirts. The emails have been coming out. So shout out to whoever's going on Pro Wrestling Tees, buying some of our merch. Brand new shirts available now. And then, of course, Blitzkrieg Pro, We Are Wrestling. We're a proud sponsor. and they're going to be having a show in Enfield, Connecticut on Saturday, March 14th at the Pierogi Hall in Enfield, Connecticut. TNA star Rich Swann, TNA star new member of the system, Bear Bronson, will all be there. Bunch of standouts. And then, of course, We Are Wrestling will be sponsoring 2 matches on this card. Becca versus Amity LaVey. I think that's how you say her name.
Amity.
Amity. Well, we'll be sponsoring that match. And, of course, the main event for the Blitzkrieg Bedlam Championship. Sammy Diaz will be defending the title against Charles Mason. And if you guys want to watch this live, you can. Saturday, March 14th on IWTV, which is only $9.99 a month.
I'm still thinking about. I'm still contemplating whether I want to go to the show or not, man. I'm really thinking about it.
It's going to be a really good show. And I highly recommend, if you guys are in the Western Mass, Connecticut area, make the drive, come out to a Blitzkrieg Pro show. They put on some of the best independent wrestling shows out there, and not a lot of people talk about it.
Is that the day of AW Revolution, or is that the day after?
Nope, day before, because it's on a Sunday. Sunday the 15th. But, yeah, man, a lot of stuff that we just talked about here. And also, I do want to plug, because Danhausen has been the talk of the hour. We have 2 reactions up, which we do want to shout out all the Maniacs and probably new subscribers who checked out my reaction to Danhausen's debut at the Chamber, and even his 2-minute backstage segment with Adam Pearce this past Monday on Raw. Danhausen, man, he is helping We Are Wrestling get some subscribers. So shout out to him.
You know, Danhausen's phenomenal work. And, you know, people are, we sort of talked about this before we came on here, but like, you know, on Saturday, people were like, oh my God, you know, fuck this guy. And then, you know, Monday rolls around. They're like, oh my God, this dude's fucking hilarious.
Bandwagons.
Pretty much.
And it's funny because, like, I was reading a lot of the comments on my Elimination Chamber reaction, and people are like, I think you're like the only streamer that's like was positive about this whole Danhausen thing. And it's like, yeah, because fucking it's funny. It's fun. Not every fucking wrestler has to be serious. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I don't feel like it's Danhausen that people are upset about. I think it's how WWE debuted him with the whole box and like hyping it up for a couple weeks and like.
And you know what's funny? This is
like
what I was saying. I believe the week you weren't here when it was just me and Rage, I was saying this. It's going to be, because he asked me, who's inside the box? And I told him exactly who I thought it was without hesitating. Danhausen is in that box, and I guarantee you, everybody's getting their hopes up thinking Chris Jericho is going to show up in that box. And when it's Danhausen, everybody in the IWC is going to go up in flames, and they are going to be pissed. And there is going to be a riot. And that's exactly what happened.
Jericho's
so while everybody in the IWC was bitching about Danhausen being in there, and people are like, what in this opportunity? That should have been Chris Jericho or somebody more serious. Like, I knew immediately, like, this is fucking great. I love this.
Who could it have been, though? Like, if it wasn't.
Come on, it's a box. I knew it was going to be a comedy gimmick in that box.
Especially since, like, the last 2 weeks before, you know, the Chamber, you know, I mean, who was hanging around the box? R-Truth, fucking Motor City Machine Guns, fucking Johnny Gargano was laying on top of the fucking thing.
So do you think, like, Johnny would be laying on the thing if it was Christian? No. They would have more serious people next to the thing. It was obvious that was Danhausen.
It'd be like it'd be like Cody Rhodes. It'd be like Drew McIntyre, stuff like that. Like,
because I'm telling you, Jericho's going to show up at one of the big PLEs, whether it's accepting an open challenge at WrestleMania, a SummerSlam, a Survivor Series, or a Royal Rumble.
Apparently, from what I heard, I don't know if this is true or not. I haven't heard any like follow up on it. People are speculating that his contract with AEW expires around the fall of this year, because he took time off because of injury or whatever. Tony Khan is his contract was set to expire in December. Tony Khan heard all the rumblings about Jericho possibly going back to WWE and all that, so he froze his contract.
And business-wise, it's smart, especially before the Royal Rumble, Because if there is a time and a place, doesn't matter where the Royal Rumble's taking place, you create a lot of buzz. Like having Jericho at that Rumble like this year would have been huge.
The minute I saw the coffin, I was like, "Oh, that's Danhausen."
Dude, I fucking knew it. I loved it. I loved the whole presentation.
I was watching a bunch of streamers' reactions on TikTok, and there were like at least 4 people there. They were like, "Is this the Undertaker?" Get up in the coffin and shit.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I love that. Like,
Yeah,
we
the
watched the
Undertaker's gonna
independent
debut at
like
Elimination Chamber.
know these people. Oh man, let's see what some of the maniacs are saying here. Angelo, I think at first because he got a reaction, they were fine, but then when it just ended and nothing happened. Okay, so what? Like the little pyro thing, like that was great. That was a great way.
The way I look at it is, people were upset that it ended. They're not upset that it was Danhausen there because they didn't start booing until after it ended.
That's true. That he got a pop when he first came out. He got booed because everybody thought the box was going to be something bigger. There's nothing bigger in wrestling than Danhausen. He's the #1 merch seller right now in WWE.
Right, yes. Bro, he's outselling Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Roman. He's outselling fucking everybody right now.
Because you know why? He's over. With more than
think
just
of how much money he's gonna make for WWE around September, October, November, around Halloween. Bro, I'd be surprised if they don't make a Danhausen Halloween costume.
I was just gonna say they're gonna have Halloween costumes. You're gonna have.
I'm waiting for them to sell jars of teeth, and you better buy one because I want to.
Oh, and then also like you're gonna have the plastic mask as well. Like you're gonna have so much Danhausen merch.
Bro, they're probably gonna work with a fucking cosmetic company and make like Danhausen face paint, like the same kind of face paint that he uses.
I was just saying that. Josh Toy Show. Danhausen's debut was great. A lot of fans knew it was him. I wish the reception was better, but the fans not familiar with him should have not complained and get to know Danhausen more. But that's the thing. The presentation, I thought, introduced Danhausen perfect. What he's all about.
Bro.
And that's something that I feel like WWE programming does not have enough of. And I think that's why a lot of the regular like WWE fans weren't used to it. And that's why they reacted the way they did. Because a lot of the times they just throw these people randomly on TV without a vignette, without letting the casual fan get to know them. And I thought Danhausen, the whole presentation, like having the girls come out with the face paint, doing the dancing. He has the jar of teeth, gives it to Michael Cole. And then you get the little curse, like little pyro. And like you get like this freaking, I don't even know what to call the music, but you got the perfect presentation of what Danhausen is.
Fantastic debut.
And it's funny.
Bro, I want to have a segment backstage since Hornswoggle recently signed a Legends deal, bro. We need to have a Hornswoggle and Danhausen fucking backstage segment.
Oh, dude, some of the stuff in Danhausen's vlogs with Hornswoggle are fucking hilarious. Hornswoggle hates him.
Needs to come up and be on whatever brand that Danhausen's on.
Agree. Let's see what else we have here. Angelo, can we talk about Triple H being scared of Chicago and not going out like he does after the press conference? It seems the chance after the show got to him. Probably. A lot of people say Triple H got a fragile ego. And that's
because
people that have worked with him.
I did watch the post show. And Triple H did like his interview thing that he does. He did it from Gorilla.
Oh, what a guy. Omar, anyone know what happened to Jack Swagger? He actually just signed a 6-match deal with UFC Power Slap.
Donnie has a little bit more information than I do. But the last I saw Jack Swagger, he was on the verge of leaving AEW, or he left AEW or something. He was scheduled to do a special appearance at Blitzkrieg Pro for around Christmas for like a toy drive.
Yep.
And then he made like a bunch of like political comments on social media, so Blitzkrieg had to pull him out, and that was the last time I don't know. I don't know if you know more to the story because you talked to Jeremy.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Basically, you had said it, and then he's been out of the light for a little bit, but he just signed with UFC Power Slap, so it looks like he's going to be doing that, and hopefully somebody slaps some sense into him. Oh man. I mean, The Rock is a fan of him for a reason. Exactly. And why do you think
John Cena posted a photo of Danhausen on his Instagram?
Omar, R-Truth has competition now. Yes, he does. And that's why I do hope, realistically with Danhausen, he stays on Raw. Because I want to have, because I was just saying this, when I was watching the live watch-along for Chamber, SmackDown, we already have enough comedy gimmicks over there. We have Kit Wilson. We have R-Truth. So now over on Monday Night Raw, I think Danhausen could fill that comedy void over there.
People are saying, and speculating.
I'd buy a Danhausen puppet.
I would too. But people are saying, you know how Brock Lesnar's having this open challenge or whatever to see who his opponent for WrestleMania.
Danhausen.
People are saying that maybe Danhausen can go out there as a little comedy spot with Brock Lesnar or whatever and say that he's gonna accept the challenge. And then Brock Lesnar starts picking on him and bullying him and pushing him around or whatever. And then out comes Obafemi
that'd be awesome.
to Danhausen's defense, and that's how we can set up Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome. Because I would love to see Brock Lesnar try not to break character when Danhausen tries to talk.
Bro, he's broke character to R-Truth. I mean, fucking.
I can't imagine Danhausen fucking saying I'm stronger than you or something like that. I can't imagine that. But we got a new maniac here. Just be the mystery box. They didn't reveal a new sponsor. Dude wipes. Exactly. At least we got something out of the freaking box, right?
I know. Danhausen's awesome, man. Being a fan, I was a fan of him before he was in AEW. I was a fan of him before. Obviously, he made it to WWE. I really learned about Danhausen through his vlogs and hanging out with Ethan Page and the YouTube side of things or whatever.
Yep, the YouTube channel is where I've really became familiar with him, because obviously being a huge MJF fan and finding compilation clips for to Try Not to Laugh, our most viral videos here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, Danhausen was in a couple of those. Yeah. And I loved everything about the gimmick. And that made me go back onto YouTube. I wanted to see some of his work, got to see his interviews with Chris Van Vliet, even the old school ones before Chris Van Vliet was the #1 wrestling podcaster out there.
Yeah.
So much stuff. And I just fell in love with Danhausen. Got to meet him a couple times. Great guy. Trying to get that money as always. Dude, I love that he's the gimmick. I love it.
Them human monies. He wants you to go buy his shirt so he can get more of your human monies.
Oh,
he's posted on Twitter earlier today.
It's amazing. But now, with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling podcast. Highlight of the week. What's your highlight of the week this week in the wrestling world? What do you got?
I would have to say the beginning of Monday Night Raw was pretty good. With you have Division coming out cutting a promo, and then Division getting run off, Paul Heyman being left alone in the ring with Seth Rollins, and then you got the whole beatdown with Paul Heyman. And then when we went backstage, Paul Heyman was in the ambulance, and it was being commandeered by LA Knight.
Dude, I loved the chaotic opening they did for Raw.
I liked it, but I was kind of upset at the same time. The further into the show we went, because I was saying this on my stream Monday. I was like, I hope we get, certain backstage segments in the locker room of maybe Jimmy Uso FaceTime in LA Knight and seeing getting an update on where he took Paul Heyman, and we used to get that a lot in the Attitude Era. Or they could have, my dog's barking, sorry. We could have gotten that could have happened at the end of the show. Paul Heyman getting, attacked and then taken an ambulance after the show. And then we could have gotten a follow-up next week. You know what I mean? To sort of leave it off as a cliffhanger. There's so much more they could have done, but it was a really good segment. I like the way they started Raw this week.
Man, I've been really impressed with the way that they've been starting the shows off, period. Even SmackDown before Chamber. I was very invested in what they did the beginning of the show. With all the chaos with Jey Uso getting attacked and stuff. And I thought that was a great way to kind of make up for that last second decision that they had to make, because of course Bronson Reed was supposed to win. He gets hurt, so they had to call it audible and give it to Jey Uso. And of course, the fans don't want that. We just want Jey Uso to be teaming with Jimmy at this point. Go back teaming because that's what he does best. So I love the chaos that we got with both the beginning of Raw and SmackDown. But if I had to pick a highlight of the week this week in the wrestling world, it's a very popular one. It's got to be the Danhausen debut. Like, I just absolutely loved everything about it, especially like with the little pyro. Like, I just loved it. Maybe
I'm
that,
kind
like,
of
when you
I'm
could
kinda-
laugh and you could smile watching pro wrestling, especially because we cover this stuff. So a lot of the times,
Yeah.
like, there's shows where we're just like, we feel like we're being suffocated. But
Yep.
like when you have that couple seconds where like you're not thinking about like, oh my God, I have to watch this. Danhausen didn't make me feel that way. Like I
Yeah.
generally felt like a wrestling fan again, just laughing and like, man, like I love comedy gimmicks and I love Danhausen.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't say the Penta winning the IC title. He's the first
Oh, I'm
Mexican
also
born
very happy
WWE
with winning the belt.
Intercontinental Champion. So yeah, that was a big moment for him.
That was a very
And
big moment.
and it was, you know, a lot of people may be upset about it, but you know, Danhausen kind of had a little hand in that happening.
I thought that I even mentioned it like when I was watching like the backstage segment. I was like, what if like this leads to Dom losing the belt? Like I actually thought about that when that happened.
Here's what I want to see. Here's what I want to see, and I want to get your opinion. I want to get the chat's opinion. I want Dominic to go on a losing streak, and this is how we can sort of like get Dominic to turn face. I want him to go on a losing streak for the next couple of weeks, and then he has to find Danhausen to try and have Danhausen reverse the curse because things have just not been going his way. And it's sort of like in a way like having Danhausen, like
Oh, so
open
when he
Dominic's
uncurses him, he's not an asshole anymore.
having it'll show
Okay.
Dominic like the kind of person that he has been and the way he's been acting or whatever, and that we can slowly get that Dominic face turn.
But you see, I don't think we're going to be getting a Dom face turn anytime soon because I do think it's going to be Finn Balor who turns face. And then I think at WrestleMania, we get Finn Balor versus Dom. And I don't think JD is going to get involved until WrestleMania when he helps Dom win.
I was thinking about, are we still going to get Dominic versus JD at Mania? Now, I'm just not 100% sure now because the IC title's on the line. And I do kind of feel like the title should have been on the line because, like, what would have been like a more of an eye opener than Dominic dropping the IC title to Finn Balor?
Yeah, but like it would have been cool to see Finn win the IC title. I agree with you on that. But at the same time, their feud, their rivalry doesn't need a championship. Penta winning the title, this opens up a lot of opportunities to maybe give us like a triple threat or like a fatal four-way with the IC title on the line. Maybe they throw both El Grande Americanos in there and they do a triple threat for the IC title with the Luchadors.
At WrestleMania, I feel like we're going to be getting
Something.
El Grande versus El Grande, mask versus mask.
Probably, but I don't know. I'm just shooting some little ideas because obviously we don't know the exact
I like
direction with the IC title.
Because Dominic has been a heel since like 2021. He's been a heel since when he was teaming up with his dad and Edge.
I know. Rather Finn Balor turn face than Dom.
I know, but I just
feel
at least
like
right now with this whole curse gimmick, like that could be a way of like
it is a good way
the process of turning.
In the process of turning, I do agree for sure. But I could also see Gunter versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. And that's where Dom, because maybe they have that match night 2, and then night 1, they have the Finn Balor versus Dom match, so they can end that rivalry, end the Judgment Day once and for all. Then night 2, Dom can come to Rey's rescue because Gunter is just going too far.
I think
ooh, a 6-man ladder match. I'd be for that, Angelo.
I don't know if Gunther versus Rey Mysterio is the right move because I feel like if that is going to be happening, that's going to be Rey's last match, and I'm kind of in the ballpark of I feel like his last match should be against his son.
I don't know, man. I like the career killer gimmick.
That could be the official face turn of Dominic. Like imagine Dominic versus Rey at WrestleMania, right? Rey ends up winning. And then Judgment Day or a bunch of cronies from AAA or whatever that Dominic hang out with, they can come out, beat the hell out of Rey. And then maybe Dominic starts walking away. and then he has a change of heart and he comes to help his dad or whatever, and they have that father-son moment, taking out the dudes that are beating up Ray. And that can be like, they can hug out in the ring. That could be the official face turn for Dominic.
Yeah, they could do that. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the IC title. But now, with that being said, let's get into our weekly TV recap. It's time for the We Are Wrestling Weekly TV Recap, talking about some of the highlights that have happened on wrestling television this past week. And we might as well start off with last Friday on SmackDown. Nia Jax and Lash Legend won the Women Tag Team Championships against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. What's her thoughts on them winning the belts?
I'm not surprised. Like, when it first happened, I was like, oh my god, like, really, like, do we really need this? Because I'm not a fan of Nia.
The irresistible force. That's what they're calling themselves, right?
Irresistible forces. I don't think Nia is very good. I definitely don't think Lash Legend is very good. Just every time they're wrestling, like, I just like see things that they're doing, like, Lash Legend goes to splash somebody in the corner and she'll be running, and then like maybe like a couple steps before she's about to splash into them in the corner, she'll stop herself, and she'll just be walking in like little to no impact into the opponent. It's like she's afraid to like really like make contact. And I just think her matches are just they're not well at all.
I don't know,
so
man.
I'm not that big of a fan of them, but
I feel opposite.
I felt like it needed to happen, especially with. And like once they dropped it, I was like, I was thinking to myself, like, I don't like that decision, but Rhea Ripley is 100% winning the chamber, because Rhea and Io couldn't be tag team champions if Io's going to be on Raw and Rhea's going to be on SmackDown or whatever. So like, I feel like it needed to happen, and like there was the only other person I would have wanted to win the chamber is maybe Kiana James. Kiana James has been impressing the fuck out of me.
I've been telling you, dude, she's good. Just needed the opportunity.
She is phenomenal. Like, she's too good to be just like hanging around with Julia. And Julia has the look, she has the entrance, like, but WWE whatever just doesn't want to like put a lot of stock behind her. I kind of feel like Kiana James is outshining her in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure. And that's probably what the plan's going to be down the road. And I think Kiana will probably be the one to take the United States title off of her. But getting back into the tag titles, I really like this move, and I think Nia Jax and Lash Legend teaming together is a brilliant move, because, of course, WWE sees a lot of stock with Lash Legend. They had her eliminate some of the big names in this year's Women's Royal Rumble. And then also being with Nia Jax, who's already an established WWE superstar that the casuals, that the WWE fans know, having her with her on weekly television is the right move, because it helps the fans, the casuals, get used to seeing her on TV. And then eventually, when Lash Legend starts to impress the fans, which I'm starting to see her get reactions, Nia Jax will get jealous of it. That's a perfect way to have Nia turn on Lash. Lash gets a big moment by beating Nia, who is already established, former WWE Women's World Champion. And there you go. Lash Legend, she's ready to go for the main event. She's ready to go for the Women's World Championship or the Undisputed title, whichever direction you have her go in, because they do see a lot of stock in her. She has aura. I think she's a great worker in the ring, and I've enjoyed her and Nia as a tag team.
Bro, when she was, I can't remember, it might have been Io Sky. She had Io Sky in the match, and she was like going in between the ropes and like doing this weird movement up and down, like making it seem like she was like, slamming like Io Sky in between both sets of ring ropes or whatever. And I was like, bro, she's not even making contact. Like, that is the most hideous looking fucking move I've ever seen in my life.
But you see here,
bro,
that's
like you can have aura, but you can also be a very green worker. And I just,
but you see, that's the thing.
Lash Legend are
but that's the thing, though. Lash Legend, you're right, she is green. But that's why we need to keep her teaming with Nia Jax, because that's only going
Nia
to
Jax
help
is
her
green
get away
too.
from that.
Nia Jax is not good either.
A lot better than she was.
Not by much. That's a very slim margin, man. Not by much.
I don't know, man. I have seen the improvements with Nia Jax, unlike Jade Cargill. But with Lash Legend,
they're better than Jade Cargill,
but with Lash Legend,
not by
though,
much.
I do think that this is the perfect way to have her go from just somebody that this is what you need to do with NXT call-ups. This is how you get them over with the casuals.
I feel like there's people that have been in especially women. There's people that have been in NXT a lot longer than Lash was, and they are still in NXT, and they're like 10 times better than how Lash is. I feel like she got brought up because of her size. They wanted to do something creative.
Hey, we've been complaining about SmackDown's women's division, so they had to bring somebody like her.
Yeah, but bring up talent that's actually fucking decent. You know what I mean? Like, why do you have to be green to be on? Bro,
but Danny, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Wait.
Motherfucker, listen to me. How are you gonna have Lash Legend get called up on the main roster before people like Jada Parker, before Sol Ruka, before Lola Vice? Like this before JC Jane. JC Jane is she's gonna fucking live and breathe and die on fucking NXT. She's not getting called up. I'm convinced.
Okay, here's why, Danny. They probably don't want them to be where BFAB and Meechin are right now. That's the bottom of the totem pole over there on SmackDown. So they don't want some of these talented NXT women who don't have a creative direction to just get lost in the shuffle and end up like them. Because that's the thing about Meechin. She is fucking talented,
Bro.
There's no creative. There's no plan.
What the hell do you think Lash Legend would be doing if Nia Jax was off TV? God forbid Nia Jax gets fucking injured before WrestleMania. Where do you think Lash Legend is gonna go? Do you think they're gonna have a singles push for her? No, she's gonna be fucking around backstage with BFAB and Meechin. I guarantee it.
Okay, but you see, that's why they probably called her up over some of.
She should have stayed on NXT, bro. And my stance is never gonna change on that.
I'm not telling you need to change your stance, but what I'm trying to tell you is they probably looked at the NXT women's roster, WWE Creative, and realized when Nia Jax, we're tired of her having repeated women world championship matches because her and Tiffy were just going at it like every single fucking week. So they needed to find a partner for Nia Jax because we need a break from that. We don't need Nia Jax going after the women's world title or the undisputed belt. I'm just calling it the world championship. We don't need that. So let's put her in a tag team. Who should we pair Nia Jax up with? We shouldn't fucking waste JC Jane or Sol Ruka teaming with her because they're way better than that. They don't need to team with Nia to get over. Lash Legend, it makes perfect sense because she has the size. Nia Jax has the size. So, like, having them two together, it just makes sense. And I don't think it's one of those things where, like, we should be petty or, like, pissed off about it. Because if anything, not putting Sol Ruka in that situation is best for Sol Ruka.
Yeah, but there's things you could have done. I don't like. I'm sick of bringing people up from the main roster that are not ready yet. You know what I mean?
I think
it doesn't improve the show in any way.
But she does. She has the little things she needs to improve on. Like, you're not wrong
like,
there.
Pro wrestling, yes, it's scripted. We all know what pro wrestling is in 2026. But the whole idea is to make people believe what is happening is real. And when you show that you're like hitting somebody and you're not putting any force behind it whatsoever and barely making contact, and the way the cameras are shot and it looks like shit, and it's gonna remain to look like shit. I just don't think Lash Legend should be on the main roster right now.
All right. Well, we have Angelo here. He agrees with you. He says, I got to say, as someone who watches NXT every week, I was very much more of a fan of Lash on NXT than I am with her on SmackDown because she fits it and was a badass. Omar, dude, can't wait until Jada gets called up. Miss Parker chance will be crazy. Another one that I think just wouldn't benefit teaming with Nia Jax. And that's why I think like they made the decision to have Lash Legend get called up. And a lot of the times,
the thing is,
no, but hold on, Danny, real quick. But that's the unfortunate part about the WWE is that a lot of the times they make these call-ups from their developmentals to benefit somebody on the main roster. Look at how many people in the Ruthless Aggression era who weren't ready for main roster television. They weren't ready for Monday Night Raw or Thursday Night SmackDown. They weren't ready for it, but they called them up because they needed somebody to either put a more established person over, like DX with Spirit Squad, or they just needed to have a rivalry for The Undertaker or Kane, like Gene Snitsky and Heidenreich. You can't tell me them two were ready to be called up when they were, but they did because Undertaker and Kane needed somebody to put over. And that's exactly but you see, that's why WWE is calling up Lash Legend over some of these other women, because Nia Jax needs a partner.
I agree, but I don't think they should be. I don't think they should be tag team champions. The idea that they actually beat Rhea and Io is fucking mind blowing to me. But like, also SmackDown needs people in the main event scene, which is why, again, this goes back to Jade not defending, only having one title defense in over 100 days, because there was nobody on the fucking in the main event spot.
Yep.
Just so you bring in Lash Legend up to be in this meaningless tag team with Nia Jax, instead of bringing up people like Lola Vice, getting them credibility on the main roster, bringing up Jada Parker, like Jada Parker reminds me of like a younger version of Bianca Belair.
That's
like
the
they
part.
Need to bring people up to
You're
build
right.
them up to be in the main event scene.
You're right, but here's the problem: do you want Lola Vice just to get called up to lose the night to fucking Jade Cargill, and then she gets lost in the shuffle?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this is why.
We don't want to set these talented women up for failure.
Yeah, but you're not even hearing what I'm saying. I'm not saying bringing them up to the main roster and immediately thrust them into Jade Cargill. I'm saying bring them up to the main roster, build equity with the fans, maybe win the U.S. title, maybe like get a couple wins under her belt, and then she can go, challenge Jade at a PLE. Like, there's a lot you can do. But you got to bring up some of this talent to really, like, get the fans used to seeing them. You know what I mean?
That I agree with. I could definitely agree with that take. But Alex Johnson, real quick, do y'all think Liv will turn tweener or babyface sometime this year?
Yes.
Yes. I think it's gonna probably happen when Raquel or Roxanne cost her the match against Stephanie at Mania.
Yep.
Wow, look at us. We're on the same page now. So we might as well move on
man.
to we'll see how long this lasts. Let's move on now to our next TV recap. Another new title change this past Monday on Raw. Penta wins his first WWE title, defeating Dirty Dominic Mysterio, the win, the WWE Intercontinental Championship. What's your thoughts on this move?
Seattle. I think it's phenomenal, man. He's the first Mexican-born Intercontinental Champion in WWE history. And, like, Dominic wasn't doing anything with the title, man. Like, people are so, like...
Well, he was hurt.
I understand that, but, like, he wasn't hurt that long. You know what I mean? He was out for a couple weeks because of a shoulder injury. But, like, I was watching this reaction clip on TikTok, and this chick, once Penta won, she went fucking off. She fucking was so irate. She had the biggest crash I'd ever seen in my life because Dominic Mysterio dropped the title to Penta. And I'm like the last time he had that title on the line was at War Games against John Cena. That's the last time the Intercontinental Championship was on the line. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing anything with the title. He's been doing more work in AAA with the AAA Mega Championship, which he has somebody in the chat reminded me that he's defending that title on March 14th. And I mean, guess what's gonna happen on that show because of the curse? I feel like he's gonna be dropping that title too.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm telling you, bro, Dominic Mysterio working a program with Danhausen is like one of the best booking decisions Triple H has made in a very long time. I'm just gonna say that it's gonna be phenomenal.
Oh, exactly, because Dirty Dom is so good at like getting pissed off, and then you put somebody funny in there like Danhausen. That's great. Like, we got to see a lot of great stuff with Judgment Day and R-Truth, and that's why I didn't understand why they broke that up. But getting into Penta winning the title, I love this move for so many reasons. I don't think Finn Balor and Dirty Dom need the Intercontinental title to be on the line. Would I have enjoyed that? Yes, because I wouldn't mind Finn Balor winning a singles title and going back to the way he was pushed in 2017 with being like a first round draft pick, being the first Universal Champion. Like that's the Finn Balor I want back because he's still capable of being that Finn Balor. But with the Intercontinental Championship, I do like this because I didn't expect Penta to win the championship. And now going into WrestleMania, I'm very excited to see what they're going to do here. Are they going to give us a multi-man match for the Intercontinental title? Are we going to get like a ladder match, or are we going to get like him versus Javon Evans in like a classic or something? So like, I just think there's more opportunities with Penta holding the title. Plus, like Angelo said here in the live chat, this is his like 7th time going for the title and he lost. So I love the fact that he finally won it and he's getting rewarded for it because he has gotten naturally over with the fans. He's been in the WWE now for a solid 14 months, and they have done such a great job. And I think they found their next luchador in him once Rey Mysterio retires and hangs the mask up. Penta is that guy. The kids fucking love him. Penta is just such a tremendous worker. He's got aura. He's over. And him getting the Intercontinental Championship just opens up the door for so many solid mid-card heels on the Raw brand. So I can't wait to see like who Penta's going to get in that ring with. There's so many opportunities here. I love this.
Angelo, I 100% agree with this. You know, poor Ray Phoenix. You know, they brought Ray Phoenix up, and like, I'm kind of like this now. I feel like this now closes the door on a potential Lucha Brothers versus the Usos for the tag team titles at WrestleMania, which that match I feel like would have sold tickets. You know what I mean? And it seems like now we're stuck to, you know, the Usos taking on the Vision with the tag titles on the line. It's not a match that I necessarily want to see, but seems like that's the direction that we're going for WrestleMania.
I will say this. Penta's definitely the Shawn Michaels, and Ray Phoenix is definitely the Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, but the thing, like, that's not Ray Phoenix's fault. Like, the dude's phenomenal. He's been putting in some great matches since he got brought in. But like,
for sure,
I don't know, for whatever reason, they just are scared. It's almost like Triple H is scared to put the Lucha Brothers together. It's mind blowing to me.
No, it's not. No, he's not
because
scared.
They were gonna put them together in AAA, and then Ray Phoenix or Penta got hurt or something like that, so that got called off.
But we don't need. But you see, that's why they didn't make the move for Phoenix.
We don't need it
with Penta,
motherfucker. How many tag teams are on SmackDown that are just fucking doing nothing?
Who's more old, Penta or Phoenix?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Penta
they could use a little equity in the tag team division instead of having all these fucking assholes just walking around backstage looking at a fucking crate.
Okay, like I'm not gonna disagree with that, but Penta is so solid right now by himself. Why would you try to ruin that?
I still say to this day,
I do feel bad for Ray Phoenix.
One of the best tag team matches I've ever seen in my life took place at AEW All Out 2021. Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in the steel cage. One of the best tag team matches I've ever seen. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It'll save.
Oh, they're a fantastic tag team, but Penta, like, he's somebody that's not lost in the shuffle right now. Now, if he was lost in the shuffle, they had no direction for him creatively, he wasn't going to be used regularly on TV, I would say, you know what? Pair him up with Ray Phoenix immediately. But that's not the case here. And I do feel bad for Ray Phoenix because that contract with AEW, it was frozen. So Penta had a couple months to get more established with the fans than Ray Phoenix. And unfortunately, due to that, he got lost in the shuffle. And I do think that Ray Phoenix has always been the better wrestler than Penta, but in the WWE, that doesn't matter because you have to have character. You have to have aura. And that's the thing about Penta. He's always been the cooler Lucha brother than Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix just has an average looking mask. Penta has a little bit more of a cooler look.
I agree with Angelo Rodriguez.
Also, wait, the entrance, the presentation of their entrances. Ray Phoenix's is just a generic song that you would put on friggin' WWE 2K. Penta, on the other hand, he has the walk. He has the Cero Miro. Like, he has the pyro. Like, he has the whole presentation that you need in a WWE superstar.
That falls solely on WWE creative.
It
So,
does.
like,
That's the problem.
why can't they book Ray Phoenix the same way they book Penta? Help
But
him come up with a better
they
character.
can't because Penta's cooler than Phoenix. I hate to say that, but it's true. Penta has more aura than his brother. Now, in-ring abilities, like if we're talking like inside the ring, who could work a better match? Ray Phoenix can. And you know why I could say that? Northeast Wrestling, Poughkeepsie, New York, 2018, when Kenny Omega versus Ray Phoenix for a whole hour. I got to watch that match in, I believe, the second or third row at that show. And Ray Phoenix, my God, one of the best matches I've ever seen live in person. Penta worked with Darby Allin. They also put on a fantastic match. But Ray Phoenix is a better worker in the ring. But like I said, that doesn't matter in the WWE. But I also don't feel bad for Ray Phoenix because he is a better fit in a company like AEW than a WWE, where they market. It's just AEW's lost because they just didn't do shit with him.
Yeah, but WWE is always about
What's up,
like,
Wavy bro?
you know, they have such a great creative team, and they have this performance center to where they, you know, help people come up with promos and entrances and this and that. They can't help this guy.
They should have
like,
had him in
develop more of a
NXT.
character. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, what if we had Ray Phoenix? Like, I know it's not going to happen. It's very far fetched because I do think Trick Williams is going to be in that spot. But what if we have Carmelo Hayes dropping the U.S. title to Ray Phoenix?
That would be a perfect step in the right direction for Ray Phoenix, and I think that
Penta
actually
is the
would really
Intercontinental
help
champion,
him.
Ray Phoenix, U.S. champion. I mean, you want to
I
build
wouldn't be
up some
upset.
equity with these fucking guys.
Hey, I wouldn't be upset about that, and I really hope like Ray Phoenix does prove me wrong because I want him to succeed. I love the Lucha Brothers, but I
Yep.
just know Penta right now is just on a whole nother level, and a lot of that had to do with the contract being frozen for Phoenix, and just overall, Penta's more marketable than Ray, and that's just the truth.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, you know, with as dismal as WWE's tag team division is right now, which is why we have fucking MFTs going after the Wyatts over and over and over and over and over and over again because they have nobody else. You would think that they would
They
want
got some plans for Tamatanga.
I know. I feel like he's going to
I'm
be turning on
excited.
the MFTs.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen there because he's pretty
It's
good.
going to be interesting.
All right. Well, let's move on now to our last TV recap this week. And let's talk about World War II CM Punk versus Roman Reigns promo. Let's talk about this segment and our thoughts on it because I'm seeing a lot of mixed reactions. There's people who absolutely love this shit and they're ready for the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania. But then I also see the other side of it where people think that CM Punk bringing up like Roman's like dead father, like saying you're going to be buried next to him was a little too far and it didn't make sense in the story and the animosity. Like, I want to know how you feel about this.
I feel like the people that are saying that are just the ones that are just offended by fucking everything. You know what I mean? Those are the people that, you know, if you post a picture of your fucking breakfast in the morning on fucking Twitter or whatever, those are the people that are find something to bitch about. Oh my God.
Well,
you know, why do you hold your fork like that? Why do you have the napkin like that? That looks weird. Like,
okay, but to be fair, the person who opened up this conversation was Bully Ray on Busted Open Radio.
Well, you know what? Bully Ray should not be. If he is against what was said, then he should not be talking. You know, he's the last person that should be talking, you know, negatively about anything. And like, I don't have anything against Bully Ray, but like some of the stories that I've heard and some of the shit that he's done to other performers that are like, you know, sort of like below him, like he shouldn't be running his mouth when, you know, he has some skeletons in his closet, if you know what I mean. I like this promo. I like this back and forth. I feel like it definitely wasn't even close to what they did a couple weeks ago, like the first round. But I will say, like, that father line sold the shit out of this for me. Like, because like you need that level of realism. Like, these guys legitimately hate each other. Like, Roman is gonna fucking kill this guy. But if we see Roman next time and he does not bring up the line about Larry or something like close and personal to Punk, like what the fuck are we doing, bro? Like this needs, like, we all know what pro wrestling is, like I said before, but there needs to be a level of realism. And
It's the soap
I don't
opera.
give a fuck what anybody says, bro. If you think Punk said that line without bringing it up to Roman Reigns beforehand to be like, you know, is this cool? Roman Reigns is 100% a professional. He knows what this business is. He's fucking been in it for years now. Like, if you think that he did that without the consent of Roman Reigns, you're out of your fucking mind.
Oh, for sure, because at the end of the day, Roman Reigns and CM Punk, they might not be best of friends, but they both have the same thing in
It's
common.
all about this,
It's
man.
all about the money, and they know if they can go to the lengths to make this as personable as possible, people are going to buy the tickets, people are going to buy ESPN Plus, and they are going to watch this main event because you
Yep.
need to have that context in there. You need to have it be personal because guess what? Some of the best boxing fights, some of the best mixed martial art fights, some of the best NBA finals, Super Bowls, it all revolves around hatred, rivalry. And that in the wrestling business is what made WWE what it is today.
100%. I agree with that 100%. So I cannot, like, I thought going into this, I was like, I was thinking to myself, like, like when it first came out that it was going to be Roman versus Punk, I was like, I'm not really that sold on it. Like, I'm more of a Punk and Cody, feud or whatever, just because like the
I
promo
know
that we
you were
got
on
before
that
the
for a
Rumble
while.
a couple years ago. But like after that promo, that back and forth between Roman and Punk, and like just like reminiscing and bringing up like their history with each other, and like how Punk wanted to bring the Shield up as sort of like reinforcements, or whatever. But he didn't want Roman at the time. Vince is the one that wanted to bring Roman. He wanted
I
Cassius
mentioned
Ohno.
this. I mentioned this actually in my reaction. So a lot of people, I think, missed that part in the segment here with CM Punk
I missed
and
it
Roman
too
Reigns.
until somebody brought it
So
up.
let me tell you the backstory behind this. So originally with the Shield, this was one of CM Punk's ideas. The plan was for Seth Rollins and Jon Moxley. They were guaranteed going to be members of the Shield because they were already did everything they could in FCW, and obviously Seth Rollins being first NXT champion, they were more than ready to go up to the main roster. But they were struggling to figure out who should be that third member. And I only know this because I watched the documentaries with the Shield and I've listened to interviews. And CM Punk wanted Cassius Ohno, who a lot of wrestling fans know him as Chris Hero, Ring of Honor legend, to be a part of the Shield as the third member. But some of the higher ups in creative, Vince, they saw something in Roman Reigns and they needed a big guy in the group. And that's when they made a decision to have Roman be that third guy. And they made sure whoever that like the Shield was working with, you have to make Roman look strong. So the WWE team, they saw something in Roman Reigns that they didn't see in Chris Hero. We could definitely say now they made the right decision, even though Chris Hero is always going to be an indie legend in the business. But that's why Punk brought that up, because Chris Hero was supposed to be that third member of the Shield. Just a nice little fun trivia fact there.
Yep. So if you missed it, I missed it at first too. And then I was watching somebody's post show about it, and they had talked about it or whatever.
James all day. Chris Hero was awesome, but Roman was a better choice for the Shield. I think we all can agree on that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But CM Punk, he didn't believe it was the right call, and that's why he brought it up in that promo. And this has been something that has been talked about for years in shoot interviews and stuff. And so I thought that was a nice touch.
And this goes back to the realism aspect of pro wrestling. Like, we know these guys are on the same page to an extent. Like, they may not be friends going out and having drinks after the show, or going to each other's houses for barbecues and shit like that. But they're on the same page. They're working this program together. But you got to add a level of realism, and they have all this history with each other. You might as well fucking just lay it out there. You know what I mean?
You see, that's why I am more invested right now in CM Punk and Roman Reigns than I ever was with CM Punk and Seth Rollins, because I know that they could have gone so much more deeper than they did. Like, you could just tell, it was filtered. That's not what we wanted. I want to see them freaking right to them. I wanted to see that hatred towards one another, because we saw the Seth Rollins tweets and interviews. We've heard CM Punk talk shit about Rollins. Why weren't we bringing a lot of this up on WWE programming? Instead, we had cringy things with the wives. Who cares?
I
Fuck.
100% agree.
But man, I really enjoyed the segment with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Loved everything about it. Absolutely everything. Roman Reigns mentioning that CM Punk's gonna have to go on a retirement tour and that he's gonna just sell a couple merch, sell the Chicago, but he's not world champion material. And then he's gonna go to NXT, be a coach. Like, I love when Roman tries to predict the future.
And then he's gonna bring up some NXT talent that Roman Reigns.
But I will say this: as great as Roman Reigns' promo was during this, CM Punk got him.
I feel like
hold
he
on a
got him
minute.
because of the final word.
Nah, man, he got him throughout that entire thing because I was paying attention to the faces. And every time CM Punk would just talk shit to Roman, you could see, right here, Roman was twitching. He was fucking pissed.
And if you see the long shots of them in the ring or whatever, he was clutching his fists.
Yep, he was pissed. And man, I just love what they're doing. And this better be the main event of night 2.
We still have 7 weeks until Mania. I have a feeling we're gonna
get some brawls. We're gonna get some crazy shit, and I'm all for it. I'm ready.
I hope they reenact the Rock in Austin promo video package from WrestleMania 17, man.
I was just gonna say that too. I know what got you fascinated into this whole storyline was all the TikTok edits of the whole WrestleMania 17 build up with Roman and
bro. That's
Punk.
One of the best build-ups WWE has ever made.
It's so iconic. So iconic. But let's see here. Omar, it's a work. Bringing up his dead father is a work. Drew did the same thing to Cody. People crying for no reason. Agree.
Drew McIntyre did it worse though because he actually burnt the picture of Cody and his father. So I feel like what Drew McIntyre did was worse.
But also Angelo makes a good point here. I don't want anyone that watches AEW to say anything because they have someone that says your dead father randomly. Very true.
Christian Cage, yeah.
But it's good because at the end of the day, it's entertainment. It's the showbiz. That's what it's all about. You're trying to sell tickets at the end of the day.
I want to get your thoughts on
some buzz.
I want to get your thoughts on what Angelo just said, and it's true because I've seen a lot of people post about it on social media. Punk during that promo was like, "You just made the list." Obviously, the list is a very iconic thing from Chris Jericho's time. Do you think that was a hint that maybe they are still they might not be able to bring Jericho in right now, but they still have in the back of their minds they do want to bring him in?
Oh yeah, definitely little teases there so that when the time comes, if you have some of these larger superstars make little jabs about Jericho, you can, let's say it's the fall. You mentioned potentially his contract, the whole frozen contract could be unfrozen in the fall. What's in the fall?
It could be unfrozen anytime, man.
I know, but hold on a minute. What's their big PLE in the fall? WWE Survivor Series. War Games. Imagine after the War Games match with all the big names that are in there, because I'm sure CM Punk will be in there. Roman will probably be in there. Seth will be in there. They'll all be in there because that's how they do it.
I don't want to say who's going to be in there because so much.
I know a lot can happen, but I'm just saying, if you have all these big names, mention Jericho throughout, making little jabs throughout the year, and then he shows up at the end, that makes it more oh my God, who is he going to go after first?
You also got to look at the fact that they brought back Randy Orton at Survivor Series. They brought back Punk at Survivor Series. You don't really want to get in the habit of just having Survivor Series be the place that you bring people back because this year, the show wasn't that good.
Hey, Michael Cole did mention him on commentary as well.
One of the main things that a lot of people were bitching about is we didn't see Jericho at the end of Survivor Series. So you don't really want to get in the habit of getting people programmed to the point to where they think after the War Games match,
unless they wait until Rumble
debut.
That's always a possibility. I just think it's going to be one of the big PLEs that Jericho shows up. Doesn't matter which one it is. Whatever's around the clock and Jericho's contract is unfrozen, he'll show up at that big PLE.
The thing is, man, even with his contract being frozen, Like, they can try and buy out. WWE could buy
Well,
out his
SummerSlam would be
contract
the
at
perfect
any time.
spot.
You
I
know what
agree,
mean?
Angelo. Yeah, but I don't think AEW is going to allow that because they know how much buzz Jericho has.
I also heard Jericho
Stupid,
say
but
that
that's what it is.
that one of the main concerns that he has is being in WWE, you don't really have any outside freedom. So he won't be able to do like conventions. He won't be able to do he'll be able to, I'm sure, do Fozzy stuff or whatever. But like he likes doing like podcasts. He likes doing like going to
Oh, he loves the
conventions
meet
and
and
horror
greets.
conventions and stuff like that. He likes doing that kind of stuff. And WWE, they're known to not, unless it's like Fanatic Fest or WWE World or like something like sanctioned by WWE, they're known to not allow WWE talent to do any outside stuff like that. So, I
Hey,
mean,
that is
you got to
true.
take that into account as well.
That is very true. But with Jericho, we don't really know as much details right now about what's going on.
Backlash in Tampa.
What we do,
in Tampa, I think.
We will talk about it once we get some more details. But now, with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Always remember, just because Dave Meltzer says it, it doesn't mean it's true. Take everything we're about to talk about with a pinch of salt. Oh my god, AEW misused another guy. Oh my god, WWE is ripping us off again. Oh my god, this guy's leaving. He said,
What?
the IWC, who have no profile pictures, are afraid to show themselves, is buzzing about the dirt sheets. Moose said, we're not allowed to criticize anything unless we're in the business. But, fuck it. Let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors.
You fucking mark!
All right, well, it is time for the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. And we might as well start things off with probably one of the most popular call-ups in a very long time. Trick Williams is over. According to WrestleVote, there's been internal WWE discussions about turning Trick Williams babyface after his crowd reactions. Should WWE do it?
No. Because I feel like, the whoop that trick and like his arrogant attitude is like what makes him as popular as he is. And I feel like he'll lose a lot of that if he turns babyface. You know what I mean? Because he loves going out there talking shit, being cocky as fuck, and like you can't really do that when you're a babyface. He's got them lemon pepper steppers, all these
Lemon
different
pepper
catchphrases.
steppers.
So like, can he be a successful babyface? Maybe, but I just feel like his whole gimmick is wrapped around being a heel because he likes being that arrogant, cocky prick.
I think whatever direction WWE goes in, he's set. And the reason I think that he's going to be set wherever he goes, as long as they keep that catchy theme, as long as they let the man cut a promo and have that microphone in his hands every single week, Trick Williams is set. Also letting him go on ESPN, letting him do all of these media interviews as well.
Yeah.
Because any opportunity that you're giving this man the option to speak, he's going to take full advantage of it, whether he's a heel or a babyface. I think they just need to keep him the way he is. Don't fix something that's not broken.
100%.
And I will say Trick Williams right now reminds me so much of a 1998 Rock. Like exactly 1998 Rock. And that's because this is before The Rock was world champion. This is the rise of The Rock. And we're starting to see that with Trick Williams. And I really think Trick Williams is that next guy. I really think that he's going to be the one holding the world championships for years to come. He's going to be main eventing all the WrestleManias like Roman Reigns has been doing the past few years. I really think Trick Williams is next. And I think Obafemi is right there with him. But I think when it comes to popularity, like culture-wise, as a whole, Trick Williams is that guy, and he is going to be somebody that is going to be making millions in this business. And somebody I could definitely be seeing doing Hollywood movies. And just, he has aura. He has so much personality that just draws you. And that's why you're seeing the crowd yelling, whoop that Trick. That's why you're seeing like all these interviewers that are interviewing him on these mainstream platforms get invested in him. And that's the thing about Trick Williams that I love so much about him is that he's making wrestling cool again.
Mm-hmm.
For the people that like think, oh, like wrestling is like for losers, for this and that. Like, that's the thing. Like, we saw like a culture shift in the mid 90s with the New World Order, with D-Generation X in the Attitude Era. People thought wrestling was cool. It was cool to wear an NWO t-shirt or an Austin 316 shirt. Trick Williams, I think, is a cultural icon, and he's going to be somebody that makes wrestling cool again. Because he just has that personality.
Especially with like kids from like the inner city or whatever, you know, like that. He just got that swag about him, that cool factor about him. And like, you know, he got the whoop that Trick from that movie Hustle and Flow with Terrence Howard, you know, a pimp turned rapper. If you haven't seen the movie, I recommend you check that out. But I agree with this is 100%. Like, I agree with James all day when he says this. Keep Trick the way he is. If you turn him babyface, he'll lose his current personality that got him over. And like, I agree with that. How the direction for Trick I see at WrestleMania is I see him going up against Carmelo Hayes, beating him for the U.S. title, and Trick Williams becoming U.S. champion. And like,
that's what they should do.
He can get rid of he's a heel, so he can get rid of the open challenges. Be like, nah, you guys got to earn a shot at this title. No more handouts. You got to earn it. You know, like there's a lot. He can bring a lot of prestige to the U.S. championship that's just not currently there. You know what I mean?
I agree with
the
that.
history that Trick and Carmelo have from their time in NXT.
Oh, I totally agree. The history, let alone, can definitely sell you a PLE match or two.
Yep.
But there is some plans as of right now with Trick Williams. We might as well talk about it. According to Body Slam Net, WWE has discussed the idea of Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 42.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, could I see that happening? Yes, because like the backstage interactions or whatever. But part of me kind of feels like we're transitioning from Sami Zayn from a babyface to a heel. So like, could Sami Zayn become a heel after the match at WrestleMania and like sort of like join forces or something with Trick, or like how would that work?
I think they just have their regular match. Trick Williams beats him because he could definitely like benefit from winning, obviously, against a guy like Sami. And that could be what sets Sami Zayn off the edge. And then, of course, at WrestleMania, he can get involved and cost Cody.
Yep.
And maybe be aligned with Randy or something.
I could see something like that happening.
Or Sami costs Jacob Fatu against Drew McIntyre.
I would so much rather, you know, Trick.
I would rather Trick and Mello. I would rather
I feel like Trick has everything, and like he could benefit from having the U.S. title. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you could just they had a match at NXT Stand and Deliver in Philadelphia before WrestleMania 40. Yep. I recommend you guys go back and watch that match. That match was fire. And doing that on the Mania card, like for the U.S. Championship, like when was the last time the U.S. title was on the fucking PLE, let alone?
Well, you see, also the reason why I would love this match to happen with Trick and Carmelo is because both guys are the future of WWE. And Trick Williams winning the United States Championship at WrestleMania is already setting him up for greatness, because I remember back in 2004, WrestleMania 20, who defeated the Big Show for the United States Championship? John Cena. Year after that, goes to WrestleMania 21, beats JBL for the WWE Championship, and he is the next megastar of World Wrestling Entertainment. That's what I see with Trick Williams. So have him beat Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship in a great match. Yep. And then guess what? Next WrestleMania, maybe Trick Williams, he'll have the money in the bank, or he'll win the Royal Rumble, and he'll go on to WrestleMania, main event, win the championship. Have that moment. Build the fucking company around this man, because he is over. With
Angela, as much as I love Ilya Dragunov and like Mello, I think they have, you know, phenomenal chemistry. I would much rather Carmelo versus Trick. Not only the history and the story there, but I just feel like, you know, it will be able to elevate Trick Williams to the next level, and that's what we need. You know, having babyface Ilya versus babyface Melo, like, it's not gonna really do anything.
Ilya,
It's
I
not
think,
gonna elevate
is
anybody.
teasing a heel turn, though.
And
I
Ilya
see it.
Dragunov has already been the U.S. champion. You know what I mean? Like, you
Not
need
as
to
a
have
heel.
Trick Williams. You need to have Trick Williams in that spot.
I do agree. I'm not
I'd
gonna
rather
argue with that.
Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther.
Yeah, but with Gunther doing the career killer thing, like, we kind of have to wait
I
until
know.
that dies over, and then we can get that match. But I do see Elio possibly turning heel, and he cheats to take the title off of Melo. I could see a multi-man match happening at Mania for the U.S. belt, probably, like, realistically, just so you can get more people on the card, just like with the IC title. But I do think that overall, Trick Williams, that's the direction that they have to go in, him winning the U.S. title. I'm with you on that, and I'm not going to disagree with what you said.
They could also do Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn on the SmackDown before WrestleMania. So the night before WrestleMania. That's a big
also
SmackDown.
true. That is
That's
true.
a big SmackDown. So.
But speaking of a fresh coat of paint, which I'm sure we're going to be given a fresh coat of paint pretty soon with We Are Wrestling 200 around the corner, Ring of Honor is no longer happening before and after AEW tapings. After the TV tapings, Tony Khan announced that Jacksonville is officially the new home of Ring of Honor. The next set of tapings will be held in 3 weeks. What's your thoughts on this move? Having Ring of Honor move to like a little bit of like a smaller studio, and that way, like, it's going to be treated a little bit more as if it's like a developmental program, and it has its own identity.
I like it, for the obvious reasons or whatever. That building in that picture looks a lot smaller than like even like the NXT Performance Center. You know what I mean? The WWE Performance Center. But I mean, Ring of Honor is not even close to being as popular, as well known as NXT currently is. So I agree. This needed to happen. It needed to happen, and it'll be a good way of like. I still think, and we talked about this before. Like, Tony Khan is a billionaire. Like, you're telling me like he can't build his own, style performance center for, to create the next big AEW star. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Tony Khan needs to start investing a little bit more in AEW and the AEW talent. Having Ring of Honor tapings at the AEW Performance Center or whatever the fuck the facility, but you can also have trainers. You can have legends in the business or whatever, sign them under contracts. They can start developing guys, helping them with promos, coming up with characters, shooting, having a film studio, shooting vignettes or whatever. Like, you need to invest a little bit more. This is a good first step, but I feel like there's a lot more Tony Khan.
Oh, there's definitely a lot more steps.
He's capable of doing because he's got the money behind him.
But to get to those other steps, you need to start with something. And that's why I really like this move. Having Ring of Honor be moved to its own thing, create its own identity again, because having it be just dark matches where it's just squash match after squash match, you're really just wasting a lot of money and you're wasting a lot of time. I do hear really good things about the pay-per-views, just like the AEW ones. But like, we need to start really taking the time and start developing some of these guys, because they do have a solid roster over on Ring of Honor. And sometimes like I'll like watch it on YouTube. Like, I'll see some highlights and stuff like on social media just so I can pay attention, because we have a wrestling podcast, obviously, and I like to stay up to date with all these bigger promotions. And with Ring of Honor, we need to have more quality matches. That's another thing that I hope that we get in this new era of ROH. Like, we need to just have more quality matches, and we need to actually get vignettes. We need to put people that aren't ready for television yet on there. And I like what they're doing. Like, I think Alec Price and Jordan Oliver, they're doing stuff right now in Ring of Honor. And I think that that's the right move, because you have to let some of these guys who are so used to fighting in gyms and on IWTV, you need to let them get used to the way television wrestling is, because it's a whole different ball game than what we get to see at the independents. Independent stuff is great, but wrestling television is a lot different. And that's why, like, with Ring of Honor, it needs to be a developmental system and a place where if you don't have something for somebody over on AEW, have them go over there.
Yeah, I will say that, and I do want to respond to what Angelo said. He said he thought ROH was developmental. It is, but like um, people don't seem to think it is because they did a lot of ROH tapings before and after, like Dynamite and Collision tapings and stuff like that. And like that's like having oh, we're gonna have NXT taped before SmackDown or before Raw. You know what I mean?
And
No,
that's
they
just too
haven't
much.
performed at the Um, I will say
Separated.
I think ROH TV should go away for a while. I feel like having ROH streamed on YouTube, that way, because like who's gonna sign up for Honor Club?
Honor
Like
Club, yeah,
people
they
that
need to get
all
rid of that.
people
Agree.
that already watch Ring of Honor, they're not getting any new eyes on it. But if you stream it live on YouTube, it'll like people will be like, oh, this is free. They can even fucking throw ads on it so they can make some
Look,
Google
that's
revenue.
why AEW Dark was so successful. They streamed it on YouTube every Tuesday, and there was so much talented homegrown AEW guys who came out of that. And one of the best examples is Anthony Bowens and Max Caster, the Acclaimed. They started on AEW Dark during those tapings. And that way they were used to the television wrestling. It was on YouTube, so you were able to bring in a new audience to get invested in some of these people. And then that way, when you brought them up to AEW Dynamite or Rampage at the time, they would be ready and the crowd would know who they are because, of course, AEW's demographic is hardcore wrestling fans. So they would immediately get drawn to these people. And that way, like, you would get a Scissor Me chant going. Like, what they did with AEW Dark, they need to replicate that over on Ring of Honor TV. Get rid of Honor Club and put just YouTube. YouTube is such a powerful fucking weapon that AEW is
and
capitalizing on.
if you get a big audience through YouTube, that could potentially help you land a streaming deal.
And also, why do you think NWA Power got a lot of momentum when they first went over to YouTube? They lost it because they went on Tubi or like Roku or something.
Yeah,
like they lost all that momentum. YouTube, you're going to get so much more viewership than you are on those streaming platforms. And you're also going to be making money based off the views.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's not rocket science.
So I do feel like that's a big thing that does need to happen because if you're trying to get ROH on the same level of like maybe like a little like a Collision or something, like you got to start like getting your audience and like being on Honor Club and knowing like people that have no idea what Ring of Honor is, they're not gonna fucking with the price of everything nowadays and the cost of living, they're not just gonna fucking throw money down on something they're not familiar with.
Exactly. And you see, like, even myself, like, I'm not going to invest in Honor Club, especially if my world champion is on AEW programming and then they don't do anything on the TV shows and then they only have their matches at the pay-per-views. Like, why am I going to invest in that? Like, there's no reason for me to pay $10 to watch it if my world champion's not going to be like, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm hoping with this happening in Jacksonville and like being in a smaller venue, I really hope that like we go back to what Ring of Honor is supposed to be and make it a developmental, replicate what you did on AEW Dark over there. And also WWE right now, they're capitalizing on the YouTube shit with WWE, I believe, Main Event. They've been posting them every Thursday, and people are actually watching it.
They're also streaming the AAA shows, a couple Saturdays a month or whatever, and AAA is on Fox
watching it
in certain demographics. You know what I mean? So like,
people are watching it.
YouTube is people don't realize how powerful this platform is. You know
it's
what
very
I mean?
Powerful.
Like you can go from being a nobody one day to being like one of the most well-known human beings on the planet.
Well, let me tell you, this human being is a future superstar. And he's somebody that a lot of people need to keep their eyes on. And I got some news.
Some news. What's the news?
TNA is interested in a top independent star. According to Fightful, Ricky Sosa will be appearing at TNA's upcoming tapings in Atlanta next month. And they also have stated, we have not learned if he's signed by the company or not. So I know you're probably not familiar with Ricky Sosa unless you saw the viral clip of his entrance. Have you seen that?
I have seen the clip of
Bang,
his
bang!
entrance. Yep.
Sosa, Sosa!
I've
Bang,
seen
bang! Oh,
I've
shit.
seen clips of his entrance. I've
Sosa,
seen
Sosa.
some stuff on like TikTok or whatever, you know.
Over.
You could imagine that, you know, my entire you can imagine my entire TikTok is fucking pro wrestling shit because of, you know, the content I make and the content that I consume or whatever. So
Bang, bang.
I've seen it.
Sosa, Sosa.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. You know, I like another face in the X division. I mean, it's not a bad thing. You know, I could see him having some great matches with Leon Slater and guys like that. So, another thing about TNA that we gotta before you get into your thoughts on Ricky Sosa, I do want to bring this up because these are two people that you're familiar with. I just saw a little while ago before we came live that Mance Warner and Steph DeLander quit TNA because TNA did not want to clear Steph DeLander for in-ring competition because of a back injury. And Mance and Steph was like, all right, well, we're done. So, like, what are your thoughts on that whole developing situation?
They really had like no creative plans for the two. And I am a fan of Mance Warner and Steph DeLander. Like, I think they're
You met Steph
great,
DeLander at the
talented
last
wrestlers.
Wrestling Classic.
I have, yes. They're both very talented wrestlers. I loved what she did with Matt Cardona during his Indie God gimmick.
Phenomenal stuff.
Mance Warner, some of the death matches and storylines that he's done in GCW, I've been invested in. But there's just some people that are just not made for wrestling TV. And I think Mance and Steph, they kind of lost that itch. Like, it felt like they lost like why they do this with TNA.
Yeah.
And maybe that's due to lack of creative or they just got comfortable. But I think that they're so much better off on the indies. And I think that like this is going to be a huge W for GCW, a huge W for independent wrestling as a whole, because Mance Warner and Steph, they have the perfect recipe of success over in the indies. They know how to get people to tune in. And I think that it's just, honestly, it's going to be a blessing in disguise. They might be upset right now with the whole situation that's taken place, but I think that like they're going to realize that this is a blessing and not a curse.
Yeah, but there has to be like, I don't know like the extent of her injury or whatever, like, you know, how bad her back is messed up. But like there has to be a reason why they wouldn't clear her. And like, you know, like, do you see another company like willing to give her a chance?
I think
It's a
if
very
there is
tricky
a place,
situation.
if there's a place that would maybe give her a chance, I think it is WWE. They would give her a second chance. I don't see her or Mance going to AEW. I don't see that happening one bit.
Probably.
I see Mance killing it in the indies, and I do see her going back to WWE at some point.
Yeah, but like if TNA won't,
She's
clear her,
improved
what makes you?
big.
Yeah, but if TNA won't clear her because of her injury, like what makes you think WWE will? WWE has a very extensive, like you have to go through all kinds of medical tests before they even think about letting you get in one of those rings.
Time. And that's all she's going to need, I think. Maybe she needs a couple more months. She needs time. But we'll have to wait and see what happens because even on the indies, she could prove to these television companies, these bigger companies, that she is ready. Because sometimes, like, you have to go out and you have to prove that you're ready. Like, they wouldn't clear Daniel Bryan for the longest fucking time in WWE.
I know that's why he retired for that short amount of time, became the GM.
Yeah. And it took him a while to get cleared. And that's the thing, like, it's just a safety protocol that TNA Wrestling has to do, especially because now that they are getting more buzz and like they're averaging 200,000 viewers per week, 250,000 actually, which is impressive. And they're going upwards, so they can't just have something like a silly little back injury lose that momentum. So they just have to, because at the end of the day, they have to be professional. And if they don't think that she's ready, it is what it is. It sucks because they are both assets to TNA. But I do think that at the end of the day, it's going to be a blessing in disguise for the both of them because I don't know. I just couldn't get invested in what they were doing in TNA.
My prediction.
Oh, PCO is doing stuff for Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, he's in GCW right now. He was in TNA for the longest time, and then like something happened. He ended up like cutting a shoot promo and like smashing one of the AEW replica titles on like a GCW show, and like he was fired from TNA. This was before like the TNA deal with AMC, but my prediction is within 2.5 months, if TNA keeps going on the trajectory that they're going on, I give it 2 months, and they'll be catching up with Collision with the like because
I
it's
can
just
see
like
that.
it just seems like every couple of weeks like they're going up, 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 up. Like within the last 2 weeks, they've gained over 100,000 viewers. So like they get that like Collision usually gets around 350 to 450 viewers a
Mhm.
week. Like TNA is not that far off.
But let's see here real quick. Josh, this was a big loss for TNA. I liked both of them, but it depends on how you feel in the company itself. Very true. Angelo, big loss losing Mance Warner. Wasn't a fan of Steph. I feel like that's like how it is with a lot of people with
I
their.
don't know much about Steph outside of her work with Matt Cardona, so I can't say if I like her or not.
Hey, hold on real quick. Dr. Nicholas Jones, hello there from a fellow Major Mark. Appreciate you, man. Always love me some
Welcome
Major
to the
Marks.
stream, my guy.
And if you guys aren't subscribed over to the Best One Donnie channel and you are a Major Mark, and I'm assuming you love toys, I'd go over to that channel. Link is down below. But now getting back into Ricky Sosa, I've obviously seen the viral clips of the whole bang bang Sosa. This is a no fucking brainer for TNA to give him a tryout. And I think that this is not a win-lose situation. This is a win-win regardless here because it's one of those low risk, high reward type of situations. And anytime a company does that, a lot of the times it benefits them. And Ricky Sosa is somebody that I think could be a huge asset to the X division. I know I've been saying this for a long time now. There's so much talent in the Northeast over Blitzkrieg Pro, Beyond Wrestling, even in New York with Creator Pro. So much talented people that I think TNA or AEW or WWE could benefit so much from. Hey, appreciate you, Nicholas. But there's so much that like they could benefit. Like I think of like a guy like TJ Crawford. He would be so good for the fucking X division. VSK, another guy. Like Ricky Sosa, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
There's
And I do think as long as they keep that theme, man, he's
there's a
gonna
guy
be
that used to wrestle. He wrestled the same kind of style as TJ Crawford for Blitzkrieg Pro. He just recently retired. I've seen him at Blitzkrieg Pro a couple times. I can't remember his name. He's a heavily tattooed guy.
heavily tattooed guy. Well, I know Dan Barry retired New Year, but I don't know. He doesn't.
It wasn't Dan
have a lot
Barry.
of tattoos.
I can't remember his name.
I don't know. There's a lot of
saw it
people
on
that
Twitter.
come and go
I saw
in
it
the
on Twitter.
indies. But yeah, man, I just think like overall, just in general, like Ricky Sosa, this is just one of those low risk, high reward situations. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if he shocks TNA higher ups and he does get signed to the company because they really need to bring in more X Division guys. And I think Ricky Sosa would be perfect. Keep that theme. That's all I got to say. But let's move on now because we still have a getting put over and our review for WWE Elimination Chamber. So let's try to fly through these here. WrestleMania 42 news. We got some news that it's going to be happening earlier in the day, according to PW Insider. Ticket holders for WrestleMania 42 have begun receiving emails that the event will now start an hour earlier than originally scheduled, 2:30 p.m. local time. There is no word whether this means the broadcast time for the show has changed. So that's just some quick news there with like some time changing with WrestleMania. Honestly, I wouldn't mind like it being like an afternoon show.
Well,
Wouldn't be upset.
I know. Well, I mean, it'll be normal time for us, but like you have to link like we're 3 hours ahead, I think, of where California and Vegas are. So like the show starts for us around 6-7 o'clock. It'll be like 4 o'clock there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they're known for starting their a lot, especially on Saturdays. They're known for like starting a lot of their shows earlier. That way they can end earlier because they don't want to, intertwine with like whatever UFC has going on that day. So if UFC ends up
Probably.
having a big show that day, like a big pay-per-view, they're going to want to make sure WrestleMania Night 1 is off the air before that happens.
That is true. But now let's get into this discussion because some breaking news hit earlier this week in the IWC. And we got to talk
Breaking
about it
news.
because this is huge WrestleMania 42 news. According to PW Insider, the internal belief is that Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes is the planned direction for the WWE Undisputed title at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. According to Body Slam Net, discussions began regarding Orton versus Cody around the beginning of February to shake things up for WrestleMania season and to give a payoff to the teases over the last few years. But the current plans to be looked at is Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. So pretty much what some of these news sources are saying is that we're not going to be getting that rumored fatal four-way match or triple threat match that we were supposed to get originally. Instead, we're going to be getting two marquee big single matches. How do you feel about this?
You can't really say that like the fatal four-way we were originally getting because it wasn't confirmed. That was just a wild speculation on.
Hey, it was a rumor though that a lot of people were talking about. Same with the triple
Yes,
threat.
it was a rumor, but obviously it wasn't official, whatever. So people have said that maybe with Drew McIntyre being forced to defend his WWE title on Friday against Cody Rhodes, maybe that, Cody Rhodes wins and ends up becoming, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, which, like, they've been sort of teasing that match for the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Like,
I think going all the way back to like WrestleMania 40, right?
Yeah, it might have been somewhere around there. I'll be happy with whatever they decide to do. If they want to do, Drew McIntyre versus Jacob and then, Randy Orton versus Cody, like I understand because WrestleMania now is 2 days, it's 2 nights. So you got to free up some of that talent. You can't have all your main event talent in one fucking match. So I understand on that front.
This does confirm to me that the Intercontinental or United States Championship is going to be a multi-man match because now if we were getting this fatal four-way, I probably wouldn't be thinking that. But there's going to be a multi-man match at some point in WrestleMania because you want to try to keep your star morale good in the locker room. And WrestleMania is the biggest stage of them all. That's where like people want to perform at. So I'm surprised that we are going to be getting two big single matches here, but honestly, I kind of like it because if, let's say this Friday, when Cody goes for the championship against Drew McIntyre, he beats him with Jacob Fatu's help because, of course, Fatu is pissed that Drew McIntyre cost him not once, but twice at his chance of main eventing WrestleMania. Honestly, there's enough there to work with for a perfect WrestleMania match with Drew and Jacob. There's a lot of history there as well.
You could have Jacob, interfere in the match, and obviously he has, he doesn't like Drew McIntyre, but he also has no love lost for Cody Rhodes as well.
But he has more hatred for Drew than Cody.
He has to pick somebody. So he super kicks or whatever to Drew while the referee's down or whatever, and that allows Cody Rhodes to take advantage for the 1, 2, 3. And that could obviously set up Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. And maybe it comes into play about the whole, like, because we still don't know, like, who attacked Jacob Fatu. Part of me still thinks it was Randy Orton because the night that he got attacked, he was supposed to be in the number 1 contenders match for the WWE title. The title that Randy Orton, even now, is like, I'm winning number 15. Like, I want that title. So out of jealousy or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, the feeling of Randy Orton, like, I deserve that title. Like, I've put up with a lot of shit. I had back fusion surgery. I've done a lot for this company. Like, why am I not being in that spot? But yet you have this guy less than a year in, and he's in that spot. Like, it should be me. So I could that on that front, I could see that Randy was the one to take out Jacob. But now maybe they're gonna rework the story a little bit to where maybe it does come out that Drew McIntyre attacked him.
Nope, I still don't think Drew attacked him because one thing that Drew is always right about is he doesn't lie. And I think at the end of the day, it's still Randy Orton. And I think Randy reveals that he was the one that did it when he beats Cody Rhodes for the championship at WrestleMania. I think Cody's going to be a transition champ because Randy's going to turn heel in the match. Hit him with a low blow or something. Hit him with the title. He is going to weasel his victory for 15th World Championship because that's the thing. They continue to bring up number 15. So you know for a fact that Randy's getting number 15 at WrestleMania. Whether it's Drew, whether it's Cody, he's getting that title. And then on SmackDown, he's going to say, it was my plan all along. And Jacob Fatu, he fell into it because he went after Drew McIntyre and he gave me Cody Rhodes. That way, going into the summer of 2026, it will be Randy versus Jacob Fatu with the championship on the line. And I think that's where Jacob actually might win his first title.
I can see that too.
WWE
we also got the story between Randy Orton and Aleister Black, like what's going on with that? Like Aleister Black is trying to bring out this darker side of Randy Orton. You know what I mean?
So there's a lot of scenarios here, and I do like Jacob versus Drew being by itself because there's so much that makes sense for it to be a marquee WrestleMania match. Drew McIntyre has cost Jacob Fatu the main event of WrestleMania, the thing that he's worked for his entire life 2 freaking times.
Yep.
That way, what's Jacob Fatu going to do to get back at Drew? Take that championship that he has worked his ass off for right away from him. And that way, you get Randy and Cody because there is more suspense there. We don't know if Randy's going to turn face or heel or whatever it's going to be. There's history there with Legacy. I do like that these two are going to be separate because I think it benefits all 4 guys rather than just putting them all in a fatal 4-way.
So what Angelo Rodriguez is saying, also Triple H can fuck off saying I don't think anyone expected Randy Orton to win. I posted this at 1:09 p.m. on the day of the Elimination Chamber. And you guys can go to my Twitter to verify. So it's the very last tweet that I posted. I put hashtag WWE Chamber. Men's Randy Orton. Women's Rhea Ripley. CM Punk beats Finn. Becky Lynch beats AJ because I thought they were gonna have that happen and then AJ will win at WrestleMania. The Crate Danhausen. So I pretty much predicted the only match I got wrong was the Becky Lynch match. So Triple H trying to come off and say that nobody predicted Randy Orton winning. That's bullshit.
You were talking about that in the predictions. I know you, during our taping last week, you did say your final answer was Cody winning, but you did have Randy as, the dark horse.
That's because knowing Triple H, I thought I was going with the most predictable outcome. Triple H tend to do that,
But hey, I was very happy with Randy Orton winning the Chamber because I love the unpredictability here with the championship being involved.
I did too.
And I really hope that Cody is a transitional champ. Randy gets number 15 and we get that heel turn because honestly, after Mania, it's tough to watch WWE programming, but if we get a heel Randy, that's going to be kind of fun to watch.
2009 Randy?
Yeah, he's already pretty much got the bald head. But I think it's time, Danny, to put somebody over before we get into our review. What do you say?
I think it's time to put over Gore, the man.
Every week, we do this thing called the Getting Put Over segment, where we pick one past, present, or future professional wrestler, and we put them over. This is our way of paying respect to those who have sacrificed their bodies for our entertainment. Somebody is getting put over. It's time for the We Are Wrestling Getting Put Over segment, where every week we alternate. We pick one past, present, or future professional wrestler, and we put them over. Unfortunately, Rage is not here to put over who he picked, and Danny and I get the honors of doing it because this week we are putting over the man, the War Machine, Rhino. Gore.
Gore.
So, if this is your first time listening to the We Are Wrestling Pod or part of the live experience, we ask you guys favorite title run, favorite match, favorite segment, favorite year, favorite rivalry, a dream opponent / match, and a what if scenario. So here we go with our getting put over this week with Rhino. So, of course, he's got some accolades. He's been with many promotions throughout the years of his professional wrestling career. He is a 2-time ECW World Television Champion, a 1-time ECW World Champion. He is a 3-time WWE Hardcore Champion, a 1-time WCW United States Champion. This was during the Invasion angle. His highest ranking in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 500 Single Wrestlers was back in 2001, being ranked number 10. He is a 1-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. This was during the time NWA and TNA were working together. Won the belt at TNA Bound for Glory. He is a 1-time WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champion with Heath Slater. Also, he is a 2-time Impact Tag Team Champion, 1 time with Heath Slater, and 1 time with the faction Violent by Design. Also, he is a TNA Hall of Famer, class of 2024. Let's get into our favorite title run of Rhinos.
My favorite title run was obviously the WWE Hardcore title. Like, I know he won it more than once or whatever, but like, you know, they pretty much blend in with each other because there's not too much that's different about each individual run. But I've always been a fan of like the hardcore segments and the hardcore matches back in the Attitude Era or whatever, just because like, yeah, you would parking lots and restaurants and bars and, you know, the boiler room and like there was just like they had so much to play around with or whatever. And those matches were just always fun because like you never knew what was going to happen in them. You know what I mean?
And this was around the time, too, when Rhino held the championship. They were taking the hardcore title serious as well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just playing patty cake with like 100 other wrestlers that they didn't have plans for.
Yep.
I also had to go with the hardcore championship as well because, man, 2001 Rhino was just different.
He was on a different level. Like, I know, like, everybody, when they talk about Rhino, they always say, like, ECW and stuff like that because that's, like, where he got his name. But, like, there was just something special about his WWE run.
Especially at 01. But let's get into our favorite match.
My favorite match is Rhino versus Raven at Backlash 2001. Phenomenal match. I think Raven, obviously, coming from WCW and ECW, you know, they worked well together. You know, they have a lot of history with each other. And, like, this match was sort of, like, built for these guys. You know what I mean? Just because of the era of pro wrestling that they came from and coming from ECW and stuff like that. So, like, these matches were just always fun, again.
They had some really cool spots in this match, I will say. But I had to go because I loved Rhino's run in TNA. So I had to go with 2005 Turning Point. Rhino defending the NWA Championship against Jeff Jarrett. Really enjoyed this match from start to finish, even though Rhino lost the championship a little bit too soon. Wish he had a better run with the belt. But him and Jarrett was really good. Really good match. And I remember him goring Jarrett through like a table, like in the tunnel stage. And it was just one of those fun main event matches. And I thought Rhino like looked really good here. But heel Jarrett always finds a way. Let's get into our favorite segment.
My favorite segment is going to be so out of the box that people are going to be like, that really happened? Because, you know, it's not like a very notable segment or whatever. But Renee Young, Rhino, and Heath Slater at Slater's mobile home, you know. This was around the time Heath Slater was like, you know, I have like 16 kids and, you know, that whole storyline or whatever was just absolutely fucking hysterical to me. And, you know, look at the look on Renee's face. She's like, I can't believe I'm fucking here. Like, I better get a pay raise.
And 2016 and like 2017 for WWE were underrated years that a lot of people don't talk about because like when they did finally bring back the brand split, they actually made it matter. Heath Slater didn't get picked from either Raw or SmackDown. So they pretty much did this whole I got kids thing, paired him up with Rhino. And it was just one of those fun, like odd tag teams. And they ended up becoming very successful. And they did a good job, like bringing like there was story here.
Yeah.
And that's why like I loved like the tag team of him and Rhino.
And they're eating cheese and crackers.
Cheese and crackers. Rhino loves his cheese and crackers.
I mean, look at the smile on his face.
But I had to get into my favorite segment, and that is when he gored Chris Jericho through the stage. This was on August 9th,
SmackDown.
one after Jericho won his match. Rhino just speared him or gored him right through the damn stage. One of the coolest visuals, like as a kid, blew my mind.
And this is what caused them to get rid of the old SmackDown set and bring out the SmackDown set with the fist.
Oh, dude, I loved the stage though, but him goring Jericho, really cool moment. Let's get into our favorite year.
My favorite year is 2001, man. 2001 was just a special year in WWE. He was obviously, a force to be reckoned with, by himself, but he had also, great segments with Edge and Christian, and he was sort of like their bodyguard in a way. He helped them at WrestleMania 17. He also gored the hell out of Spike Dudley and Lita. So it was 2001
So
was a
cool.
fun year.
So freaking cool. And I also had to copy you and go with 2001. Or no, I did not go with 2001, actually. I went with 2006 because I didn't want to copy you with this one here. So I did go with 06 because this is when he lost the championship, but this is where like he started to pick up a lot of momentum, had some marquee rivalries during like this run of TNA, going after the people that worked with Jeff Jarrett, enjoyed the stuff he did with Monty Brown. He did some stuff with Christian Cage. Really like 2006 Rhino. But let's get into our favorite rivalry.
I gotta go with Raven, like their time in ECW and stuff like that. It was just they always had fun matches. They always had great chemistry in the ring.
Yeah, Raven and Rhino, man. Great chemistry. I agree with you on that. I had to go with Christian Cage. Really enjoyed their rivalry in TNA. This is when Christian Cage turned heel. And just Rhino and him just put on some really cool hardcore matches, and it gave Rhino something. Dream opponent.
My dream opponent is I feel like this is gonna be a little bit out of the box. I don't know. People are like, when they think of Rhino, they don't think of this guy necessarily. I don't think, but Bronson Reed. Could you imagine these two behemoths going at it? Like,
That'd be a fun one.
That would be a fun one, man. For the hardcore title, imagine if the hardcore title was still around.
So I had to go with another individual who has a pretty deadly spear. Rhino versus Braun Breaker. This would be my dream match here. The Gore versus Breaker's spear. Oh, man, because that's the thing about Braun Breaker. Like, he does remind me of like a 2001 Rhino in a way.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our what if scenario.
My what if is pretty much like self-explanatory. Like, what if Rhino, got pushed, bigger than just a mid-card guy, because he was never like he was big pretty much everywhere except for WWE, I feel like, because look who was on the roster when he was in WWE, Rock, Austin, Triple H, like all these massive, larger than life guys or whatever. And it just didn't seem like, they looked at Rhino more than just, your typical mid-card guy,
Josh Toy Show in the live chat. Rhino versus Goldberg. Well, I don't think Rhino would have the longevity of his career if he had to work with Goldberg. He would have got dropped on his head.
Probably.
But, all right, my dream scenario. What if Triple H was the booker of Rhino during his WWE run and not Vince McMahon? So the reason I had to go with this one, because I'm a big fan of Rhino, and Triple H was actually a really, really big fan of Rhino. Like, he was always somebody, like, Triple H would always try to push Vince to, like, give Rhino a push. And they actually have a really strong relationship behind the scenes. That's why we got to see Rhino come back in like the mid 2010s. Something Triple H wanted that Vince like finally granted to him. So like I would love to see what Triple H would have done with Rhino in his prime.
Yeah, I mean it would have been fun, but like Triple H's booking is half-assed most of the time, so I don't know how big.
That is true. But then I also was thinking too, as another what if scenario, what if Rhino did decide to go back to WWE in 2006 because he had that run in TNA around 2005 when he first left WWE.
Yep.
He started to get his stock up, and then in 2006, they offered him a contract, and he announced at a TNA house show that he's staying with TNA. So that was also something that was running through my head. But guys, that is it for our Getting Put Over segment this week. We put over the War Machine, Rhino, and who are we going to put over for We Are Wrestling episode 199?
Is it my turn to pick or is it yours?
I think so, but I was thinking, because we are bringing in Zach Gowen for We Are Wrestling 200, should we put him over in episode 199?
Should.
All right. Well, next week, guys, we are going to be putting over our guest for We Are Wrestling Pod 200.
Bro, I can't believe Zach Gowen's coming on the show in 2 weeks, man.
And that is Zach Gowen. We're going to talk about his career because, of course, for the maniacs that don't know who he is, I think the Getting Put Over will be a great way to introduce you guys to him before you actually get to see him. Plus, episode 200, we're probably not going to do a Getting Put Over, and it'll just be so weird, like fangirling Zach Gowen while he's here. So, episode 199, you agree, Zach Gowen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to come off like Marks. Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of the guy who hates wrestling, Marks, you're not going to fucking believe this, Danny. So,
Oh God, what?
New England Fan Fest.
Is this something you want to tell me off air or do you want to say it on the
No, I'm going to say it on air.
Oh God, what?
Put some hype into the future vlog that's going to be coming out.
Oh,
So,
hype.
sometime in May, New England Fan Fest is taking place in Seekonk, Mass. I usually go to this every year, and they announced Vince Russo as the headliner for this event. And I'm going to be meeting the man, the myth, the legend who blocked me on Twitter for disagreeing about wrestling with him.
Are you gonna tell him to unblock you?
I'm going to try. I have some ideas that I'm thinking about doing, but if any of you guys have any viral ideas, let me know down in the comments below.
Fucking Vince Russo blocks you. Fucking CM Punk blocks me. I don't even say shit. I get fucking blocked. What did I do?
And that's the thing about Vince Russo. I find him fucking awesome.
Bro, if I had $1 for every time somebody told me on one of my streams was like, you need to do a stream or you need to collaborate with Vince Russo, like you have similar takes, whatever. Like if I had $1 for every time somebody told me that on my streams, I'd probably be able to fucking buy a really expensive steak or something. It doesn't happen all that often, but it happens often enough to where I'm like, I mean, I'm not that big of enough of a channel and a content creator yet, but maybe at some point.
But Vince Russo, I definitely gonna try to do something viral because that man knows how to draw. I think he'll respect the hustle.
You should ask him to come on the podcast.
Oh, I would love to. I think that's how I got blocked because I disagreed with him, like saying like marks are bad or something, and I was like, "Come on to the pod so I can prove." Or something like that.
I'm sick of this ideology.
We're all marks!
Where, like marks are bad. Like, bro, if you're a fan of something, if you're a fan of anime, if you're a fan of NASCAR, if you're a fan of dirt bikes, if you're a fan of basketball, if you're a fan of football, like you're a mark for that thing. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Oh wait,
the idea of saying, "Oh, you're a mark." I mean, why is that such a bad thing? We love
Danny,
this crazy sport of pro wrestling.
Before we get into the Elimination Chamber review,
mark, and I'm proud of it.
Oh, me too. I think everybody that is a part of the We Are Wrestling
Pod on social media. I'm a fucking mark, and I'm proud of it.
That's that. I should make a shirt saying that and wear it to New England Fan Fest and take a pro photo op with Vince Russo.
You should.
And also, I should get an 8x10 done of the screenshot of him blocking me on Twitter and have him sign it, personalize it.
Oh my God, you can hang that shit up in your
I'm
studio.
going to wear that. I'm a mark and I'm proud of it. That's what we're doing. Yes. Yes, Danny. Yes, I'll give you 10% of what we make from that viral clip.
Fuck yes, 10%. All right.
Oh, man. Okay,
so
I do want to ask you, though. What do you think about Stand and Deliver not being a part of Mania weekend? Is this true?
Yeah, it is true.
So when is
Stand and Deliver usually, it's usually on the day of WrestleMania night 1. It's usually in the afternoon. But now it's gonna be on, I believe, April 4th, in St. Louis, Missouri, I think. So it's gonna be, on a different day, which I don't like,
It saves
obviously,
you
like,
time.
it saves me time, because I don't know how likely how
Wait, but
my
didn't
wife is
last
gonna.
year? Wait a minute. Maybe this is why they're making the decision, because if I don't like from what I remember last year, weren't people late that went to NXT Stand and Deliver? Like, weren't they late to actual WrestleMania?
I think so, yes.
Because I
I
swear
that's
I
like
remember that happening.
that's it's a very real thing, man. Like, and like that makes me kind of think like maybe they're gonna be getting this habit because like I don't think they're gonna do fucking NXT Stand and Deliver over in Saudi Arabia next year for WrestleMania. So they're gonna they're doing it early this year. They're gonna do it early next year. It's like
They do
it's
have
so
enough
hard.
things
Like
during Mania week.
there's so much to do, and like that
But I
takes up
also
half
get
your.
why fans would be upset about this too,
It
because
takes
there
up
is
half
more
your like,
eyes on the show.
bro. You wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, go to NXT. You get out of NXT probably around 3-4 o'clock, and then you immediately have to go to the arena for WrestleMania. Like that's a lot to ask of anybody. So I think like doing it in a different city, it not only sort of like brings a little bit of that WrestleMania feel to another city. You know what I mean? To get people more excited.
That is also a good point. Angelo also makes a good point here. I like it because it was a chore watching NXT and Mania in the same day. That's also true, but here's the thing too that I don't like about Stand and Deliver not happening on the same weekend as WrestleMania. There is a lot more eyes on Stand and Deliver than just your average NXT PLE because
You
it is
know,
Mania week.
you know what they used to
So
do.
people make it a priority.
You know what they used to do. They used to do. They used to do. I can't. This was like during the NXT takeovers back in like 2018 or whatever. I'm pretty sure they used to do NXT takeover on Thursday, and
Yeah,
then
I
and
was gonna
then
say
do like
Thursday would
Friday
be
night
perfect.
SmackDown, and then like WrestleMania that Sunday or whatever. Sometimes like they would do it. They would have NXT takeover on Saturday and then WrestleMania on Sunday. So like but like having WrestleMania 2 days, you could do Stand and Deliver on Thursday, Friday night SmackDown on Friday, WrestleMania
Hall of
night
Fame
1 and
after
night 2.
SmackDown.
Exactly, WrestleMania night 1 and night 2 on Friday and on Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday Night Raw that Monday. You could do that.
That's also
So
a
I
valid
don't.
point. So, like, I do think, like, they should have moved it to Thursday. That's what they should have done, honestly, because they don't really
Yeah.
have any weekly shows on Thursdays.
Well, I mean they
So,
have
like,
TNA Impact, and they sort of
okay,
partnered
but
with
still,
TNA.
it's technically not WWE programming over there. So you could
Yeah.
have NXT Stand and Deliver on Thursday, SmackDown Friday, Hall of Fame after SmackDown, and then Saturday night 1 of WrestleMania, Sunday night 2 of WrestleMania. Oh my God. You see, I would actually watch Stand and Deliver if they did that.
I watched. I spent 2 or 3
I hate
years
when they counter. I
watching.
hate when they fucking counter program AEW, which they haven't done in a little while. So kudos to them. They just
Yeah.
pick the worst fucking times for these NXT PLEs, which is why I never have the chance to watch it. But I do watch the weekly shows. I just
Yeah,
don't
and
really
like
make content on it.
obviously, like I like WrestleMania weekend because like I want to be consumed with pro wrestling the entire time. It's
Yes,
hard to do that, because I got kids and a wife or whatever. So like I also got to like
just like Heath Slater.
prioritize like streaming and like also spending time with them once in a while. So, but like I would have probably
Well,
made
Mania
that
week,
work
they know
because
you're
like
on Do Not Disturb.
WrestleMania week only happens once a year. You know what I mean? It's like the Super Bowl in a way. So like when they did NXT Takeover on that Saturday afternoon, the Saturday night WrestleMania night 1, then Sunday night WrestleMania night 2, like that, that was the time that was like grind mode for me. Yeah,
Oh, for
it's
sure.
hard. It's hard doing that shit when you're a content creator because you're not just sitting there like consuming the show and just watching it. You also have to be talking and interacting and talking to people at the same time. So
Clips, post
people don't
production, all that
understand
stuff.
how what a mind fuck this content creation shit is sometimes.
Oh, dude, I got good sleep last night, but Sunday night and Monday night because of my shoot job,
Mhm.
I probably ran off probably less than 5 hours of sleep. both nights
man.
because of how much work I've been putting in, like with the social media clips and the content, recording it and all that.
I can't
It's
wait
a
till
lot
we
that
make
goes
enough
into
money
it.
to where we can fucking editors, bro. Like
Oh, I cannot wait.
if I could only focus on like streaming and like have it like hiring somebody to like do like all the clips and like get my stream situated, like so I don't have to worry about that, my life would be fucking set.
Time is money, man. Sometimes when I fall behind, I hit you or Ben up to edit something
I know.
because time is money, man. So sometimes I feel like I'm making it a good investment. But now, with that being said, let's get into our We Are Wrestling podcast main event topic. And we're going to be
Main
talking
events.
about the WWE Elimination Chamber. And we're going to be giving our review on
Dun,
this
dun.
ELE.
You know what people call this?
What do they call this?
The Chamber of Horrors. Because of
Chamber of Horrors.
How fucking horrible this show was.
I disagree. I actually really like the show. But we'll talk about it throughout. We're gonna go through each.
We're gonna
match,
talk about it.
we're gonna
might get into a verbal fucking verbal fist fight, but you know what? The people love this shit.
Oh, they love this shit. All right, well, get your seat buckles on, grab a snack because we're gonna take you for a ride on the road to WrestleMania, and it starts with the Elimination Chamber. So to start things off, we had the Women's Elimination Chamber match: Alexa Bliss versus Asuka versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley. Those four were in the pod. But to start off the match, we had Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton. So throughout the match here, there was a couple spots that happened. They didn't really, I felt like they could have had a little bit more throughout this Women's Elimination Chamber, I will say. They could have definitely had a couple more spots, but I do like what Raquel Rodriguez did with the meta glasses on social media, talking crap.
Yeah, I saw that on
doing the glasses
Instagram, or on TikTok.
But here's one of the crazy spots here: Alexa Bliss jumping off the pod. I forgot what she calls this move, but pretty much jumping
like
on
Twisted
all the
Bliss or something.
Twist of Bliss, yes, that's what it is.
Twisted Bliss, not Twist of Bliss. You fucking one.
Oh,
you fucking
then we do get into our first elimination, which was Alexa Bliss, with Asuka spraying some mist in her and Kiana James getting the roll up, which I did like that because there is like a little bit of a storyline going on there with Kiana and Julia, with Charlotte and Alexa. And also, I thought this spot was pretty damn cool with Raquel doing the spot, or what the hell do they call this? I'm having a brain fart. Slam. I don't know. It's like some type of slam she did, like to Kiana, like through the pod. I wish like it was like real glass
slam, maybe. I don't know. Her name's fucking Big Sexy now.
I know, going by TNA's Big Sexy Kevin Nash. I love it. But yeah, that was also a pretty cool spot. And then we also did get another spot here with Rhea doing like a somersault, like off the top of the pod. And then we had the final two, which was Tiffany Stratton and Rhea. Rhea Ripley ends up getting the win. So now she'll be going on to WrestleMania to face Jade Cargill. So let's talk about this first match here with the Women's Elimination Chamber.
My viewing for this match sucked. And this is when I started to have issues with my stream. I would constantly lose internet. My frames would drop. Like I went from like 50 people in my chat to fucking down to 20 and then down to like 15. And that's 15 is pretty much where like where I stayed the entire rest of the night or whatever. It's just like I was having a lot of issues during this match specifically. So you
weren't able to really enjoy it.
I wasn't able to see the full match. That's why I didn't post my reaction to it. You know, so I watched like the last like 2-3 minutes. I will say it was a very predictable match. Nobody in this match, if you look at the competitors in this match, there was nobody in this match that was gonna win other than Rhea Ripley.
Nah, I guess the favorite, like from like what people were saying, a lot of people had Tiffany Stratton winning, which I don't know why. I thought Rhea, it was obvious what was gonna happen.
It was obvious Rhea Ripley.
The only thing I didn't like about this match was I felt like we weren't setting any feuds up. We weren't really setting anything special up. during this,
That's
which
why I'm
I
kind of
didn't
surprised.
like.
That's why I'm kind of surprised. Charlotte Flair wasn't in the match because you could have had a story of
Her and Alexa.
Her and Alexa are a tag team, but one of them's got to fucking eliminate the other or vice versa. Like there has to be something in there.
I
And
thought it was a missed opportunity not having Julia in there because you could have had Kiana maybe get the roll up and steal that opportunity from Julia. And that could have started the feud with the Women's United States Championship. Actually give us something with the belt that's worth watching.
They half-assed this fucking match, man. This is one
So
match
I will say
where I was like, oh.
It started off very fucking slow, but then it did start picking up a little bit of momentum, getting towards the end. It started to pick some of that momentum back up. But yes, it was one of the weaker chamber matches. I do think that last year's women's chamber definitely blew this one out the water.
Yeah.
But Rhea winning, right decision. She's been away from the world title picture for a very long time now. And I just think that this is just the right call. Having her go against Jade Cargill, even though it's unfortunate that she's going to have to carry her throughout this entire match and program.
I just hope Rhea fucking wins.
I hope she wins too.
And ends this fucking abysmal fucking title reign because it's
appreciate you, Angelo. The running power slam. That makes sense.
She's just the fucking Jade Cargill every time she's on TV, it makes me want to fucking sleep.
Yep. Literally, Dan Eddie is the only fan of her that I know.
Dan Eddie's a fan of her because of her ass. Let's be real for a minute.
No, I think he digs the wig. All right, let's move on now to our next match here for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch defending the title against AJ Lee. I'm going to let you take this away and talk about a little bit of the match itself.
The match I feel started out slow and then it started to pick up. We had a good back and forth between Becky and AJ. And this is very submission heavy, which is obviously how AJ Lee, picked up the victory. But it was decent for what it was, but it wasn't anywhere near what I assumed it was going to be. It just didn't seem like people in Chicago really gave a shit, because there was little to no heat within this entire feud. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I just think that I will say the build up for this match, I thought that this was going to be a total dumpster fire. But I got to say, this was by far the best AJ Lee has looked since coming back to the WWE. At first, it was a little slow between the two, but she looked really good out there. And Becky also looked great as well, which Becky could always give you a good match any night. I think that the match really made up for the shitty buildup that we got leading up to this. Now that we got this match and AJ Lee seems to got that ring rust away from her, I want this feud, the storyline side of it, to really pick things up for WrestleMania. I want to be invested in the story. And AJ Lee and Becky, look, I didn't like the way they build up this match. But I will say this. That match definitely made up for it. So now let's forget what happened and let's really build things now.
You know what people are saying the going rumor is for right now for Becky Lynch at WrestleMania?
What's that?
Becky Lynch versus Jessica Carr. Jessica Carr, obviously, as you know, is a professional wrestler. She's she has a mass gimmick on WWE Evolve, whatever. She's really decent.
I heard she is pretty good in the ring.
But this feud has been going on for a couple of months now. So, and the going rumor is possibly having Becky Lynch versus Jessica Carr at WrestleMania, which, I mean, is it WrestleMania worthy? Probably not. But I'm actually really intrigued to see her smack the dog shit out of fucking Becky Lynch.
Hey, if it happens, it happens. But I will say this. I enjoyed the AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch match. I thought it was good. I just wish it had a better build-up. AJ looked great in that match.
I enjoyed Becky Lynch's like a lot of her promos and stuff like that, and her social media work throughout this entire
her
thing
promos have been fucking awful.
Awesome. So,
give me a break. Her promos have been awful. Now, when she was able to cut a promo was when she was doing the man gimmick. That's when she knew how to cut a promo.
I'm not, Jesus Christ, bro. I'm not saying that this is on like the same level as that. I'm just saying it's been like,
but
when
she's
she was,
capable of that.
she
I don't know.
just, she's good at really sounding irritated and annoyed, and I like that. She seemed like she was really irritated with AJ Lee. She's just like, oh my
It
God.
was cringe. It was cringy as fuck. Chelsea Green does it better. Angelo, it was totally opposite from Becky versus Nikki in Paris. Agree. I definitely agree with that. But AJ Lee wins the Intercontinental Championship. But now let's move on to the next match here for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Finn Balor versus CM Punk. And CM Punk got a special entrance. A nice early 90s Chicago Bulls entrance, which I
With
loved.
Ray Clay.
As a basketball fan, I fucking loved everything about the presentation of this with the banners and the theme. I love this for everything that it was. I will say this though. Oh man, I wish that we can get more of this on the PLEs, because that's one thing that a lot of people liked during Triple H's Black and Gold NXT was the special entrances that we would get for big matches. CM Punk doing this in Chicago, it made it feel more special, even though like we already knew what the outcome was going to be.
Yeah.
But then CM Punk and Finn Balor, absolutely two professionals, killed it. Great match overall. And CM Punk ends up retaining the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then we do get that moment where Finn Balor shakes his hand, pretty much going back to being a babyface. No Judgment Day involvement, which I will talk about in just a moment, because I wasn't a fan of that. But we do get the moment here with CM Punk with the world title and AJ Lee with the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. It was a great match, very predictable match. So I don't know how many people were really invested in it. I will say, I feel like their match over in Ireland was better. Like, you know what I mean? This had more eyes on it, I feel like, but
True.
like their match, for what it was better in Ireland or whatever, just because it had more or less that big match feel than this one did. And like that one was a little bit less predictable because like everybody was like, oh my God, they're in Ireland. Like, is there a potential for Finn Balor here? But like after we got that Roman promo and we got the build up for Roman versus Punk at WrestleMania, like going into
was
this match,
obvious what
you
was gonna
knew
happen.
it was obvious that we weren't going to get a title change. I feel like that took a lot out of this match. But I enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Punk. I'm a big fan of Finn Balor. One of my biggest gripes, I feel like, for this match wasn't even about the match, it was about the ending. And like the handshake. And like they didn't talk about it or speak about it on Monday during the Judgment Day segment. Like I feel like with Finn Balor doing that and shaking, the enemy's hand, so to speak, I feel like something should have went down. And there should have been some repercussions.
This was really my only critique, really, when it comes to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Also, production. I just want to point that out as well. You want to talk about something that really fucking pissed me off throughout this entire PLE? The production. Oh my God. Especially in this AJ Lee and CM Punk match. Or no, the AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch match. Oh my goodness. The spot with like the broken like turnbuckle or whatever.
Yep.
Jessica like hits it, but then gets right back up, and then they do like another spot. And it was just the camera angles like throughout the night. It pissed me off. And I know for a fact Kevin Dunn, like he had his flaws as a producer, but he would have never done the shit that we got at the Chamber.
Yeah.
It looked AEW looked better than what they were doing production wise.
I didn't even like fully like.
Oh, I was pissed.
I didn't fully like notice it, so lucky for me, I guess.
Oh, lucky for you, because like as like one of the like having OCD and just like being somebody who like just always wants to like make everything perfect, it was just driving me nuts throughout the entire night.
I agree with Angelo. They should have had a better match for Punk, and like if you knew you were going to do this match, I would have held off with the whole Roman and Punk face to face or whatever to make it a little bit less predictable. Because like
Agree.
by the time the chamber match happened, like we already got the first back and forth with Punk, which pretty much sold, the main event of WrestleMania. Like you knew that Punk was 100% retaining, and there's not going to be another outcome outside of that.
They really should have had JD and Dom involved. What a missed opportunity. Like, you could have had after the match, CM Punk retains. They come out, beat the crap out of him. Finn Balor pushes them. There you go. Like, there's so many scenarios that they could have done here. Like, they could have been trying to help Finn. Finn tells him to go out to the backstage.
And like on Monday, there was no mention of it, and they acted like it never happened. They were walking backstage together. They were talking and going over a game plan for Dominic's match. Like, they were acting like
Finn was just like, "Oh, it is what it is." But it's like they should have gotten involved. Like when they shook the hand, like why? Like such a missed opportunity, and that's the thing. Like why it pisses me off so much because there's more eyes on a PLE than there is on a Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. So like, you want to build stuff. You have to do it on the PLEs or pay-per-views. And that's why like AEW does a great job at the pay-per-views because they actually build shit, but then they don't follow up half the time with their weekly shows. And that
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on Moxie's face turn, after that babyface promo after he fucking won the title at
like they build a crazy story.
Dream or something.
But it's like the opposite. It's like WWE does the opposite of what AEW does, and it drives me nuts. Like, if they could just do the storyline, like, they could do stuff on the pay-per-view.
WWE does too much, and AEW does too little. There's no in-between.
Yep, there's no in-between. Actually, Finn said he wanted to do it alone, so they let him, and he screwed Dom, because Dom said they would both win alone.
He didn't screw Dom, though. He took the hammer away, yeah, but that's not screwing him. And then fucking Penta took out both Finn.
Hey,
JD.
I did really like that spot in the match, but there's no excuse. Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough should have been there during that match after or whatever. They should have done something.
Yep.
That's my biggest critique of the night. But moving on now, we have Danhausen's debut, which we already talked about him a lot in the beginning of the show. You and I both enjoyed it, while a lot of other people absolutely.
That's because we were fans and familiar with him before, and this goes back to like what we always talk about. There's a difference between a pro wrestling fan and a WWE fan. Somebody that only watches WWE and there's nothing else that exists outside of WWE. There's so much out there that you gotta like consume, and even if you don't watch the full shows, just like do your research, man, because there's so many people in the pro wrestling business that that you would fuck with, but you just don't give them an opportunity until they show up on WWE TV, and then you're like, who the fuck is this asshole? You don't know who the fuck he is because you haven't done any research.
He got cursed. Hey, we got Joseph here. Good evening, gents. Good evening, Joe. Hope you're doing good, man. I will be at New England Fan Fest, and I can't wait to meet Vince Russo. I'm excited.
That's gonna be interesting, bro.
But let's get into our main event match here, the men's Elimination Chamber match. We had Trick Williams versus LA Knight versus the Maverick Logan Paul versus Randy Orton. Those four were in the pod, and we started things off with the future of WWE, Javon Evans, and the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
I'm really shocked that they started with Cody and Javon. I thought they would have started with maybe Trick and Cody or something like that. Like,
I like it.
I like it too, but I didn't think they were gonna do it, and that just goes to show, like, what like the amount of stock that they have in Javon Evans is like being the future of WWE.
For sure.
Like,
and then
if you were a fan of Javon Evans, bro, you remember him from on the Indies as Jay Malachi, in Northeast Wrestling. Like, the guy is like fucking brilliant at what he does.
Oh, for sure. And of course, we did get a couple crazy spots here. Javon doing his little cutter on Trick Williams. We had LA Knight throwing Logan Paul off the pod onto Cody Rhodes and Trick Williams. There's a lot of really cool spots in this match. Like, I really enjoyed the men's chamber a lot, and I thought they did a great job overall here. I was surprised by the way they eliminated Trick, even though he still looked strong. I don't know. Like, it was tough because we knew, like, well, we actually didn't know because Randy ended up winning, but like, we knew it was Cody or Randy. So, like, it is like hard to make it because it was all worthy competitors. And I love that, like, all of them were out of the pod and nobody got eliminated. So everybody looked strong in this match. and they
I'm
did a good
upset.
job.
I'm upset that Trick got eliminated by Logan Paul.
Me too. And then, of course, we get the Mask Man.
No, we got 2 masked men.
Well, we did get
One
2
that-
Masked Men.
One
was
that
a full-
climbed up the cage and
Yep.
then got taken out by security, and then we got this guy.
Who is
hiding
Seth
underneath the ring.
freaking Rollins, man. He's back
Chicago
just in
went
time
crazy.
for WrestleMania. Honestly, we have to talk about Seth Rollins, man, with his return.
I
What was
enjoyed
your
it.
thoughts on it?
I knew, like, there was rumblings throughout that entire day, like, oh, Rollins is, he's in Chicago, he's gonna be on the show, whatever. Like, a lot of people speculated that, it was gonna happen. I was very unsure because, like, we have not gotten any kind of medical update as to whether he's cleared or not. You know what I mean? And obviously, like, he can do super kicks and stomps or whatever because his injury was his shoulder. It was not his ACL or MCL. It wasn't like his meniscus. Like, it had nothing to do with his legs. So, like, we still don't know, like, how far along in his, like, is he actually cleared or not? And Adam Pearce said on Monday that he was gonna have to sit down and talk with Seth. It never happened though. So we're still
Yeah,
pretty much
I
left
like
in the
that.
dark whether he's gonna be able to compete in Mania or not, which is 7 weeks away. So hopefully he's able to. But like, there's a lot that can happen in that time.
Well, Seth Rollins is back, and I really enjoyed the way that they did this with the play. Gave me some good clickbait as well for my SmackDown reaction.
My
as well.
my favorite spot in this entire match, and I want to know if you agree, is after Drew McIntyre shows.
Oh, hold on. We'll talk about that in a moment because I'm not done with Seth Rollins here.
Oh, okay.
One thing I really do hope, I am hoping to the wrestling gods that they get Braun Breaker cleared before WrestleMania because I don't want it to be Seth versus Logan again. I want it to be Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania, and I want Austin Theory and Logan Paul to go for the tag titles against the Usos. That's what I want.
You know what another going rumor is? I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen because I feel like he would have been on TV by now. One rumor is having Seth Rollins and Bad Bunny team up against Logan Paul.
No! Do not put Seth Rollins with a fucking celebrity.
What I heard. It's what I heard, man.
Oh, what? Because Logan made a stupid fucking comment at the red carpet for the Super Bowl?
Well, the thing is, Bad Bunny, like, I don't fucking like the guy, but like, he's like one of the most well-known figures on the fucking planet.
I like Bad Bunny.
So, like,
But
I do feel
not
like
at WrestleMania.
I do feel like putting Rollins with him as like in like somewhat of a tag team or whatever, especially if like Rollins is like close to being clear, but he can't do like a full match by himself yet. Like putting him in there. But I feel like that'll bring a lot of eyes and a lot of attention, especially with Bad Bunny just doing the Super Bowl. And that was like had like 400 million people watching it or some ridiculous number.
I guess. But I don't know, man. I do want Logan and Theory to go for the tag titles because I kind of see that little potential there with them as like a tag team. I was watching their promo and they looked pretty good together. Like they were both very fluent, and I kind of want to see like what they could do as a tag team. But I do think Rollins' return, they did a great job here. He's somebody that like if the dirt sheets are saying, oh, he's coming back, it's one that I really just don't give it enough attention to because obviously, like, the whole Unreal thing that happened with like the injury. Like, I just really don't put any time and energy in Seth Rollins when it comes to health because I don't know what to fucking believe. So kudos to WWE for doing that.
The thing is, you got to really remember, like, we all want Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins got taken out of the division beat by Braun Breaker, and then he, of course, Bronson Reed and giving him a tsunami. But like you gotta understand that, Seth Rollins, yeah, he had a shoulder injury. But I mean, Braun Breaker's fucking guts were like poking out of his stomach because like that hernia business is not no joke.
Well, if there's any psychopath that can come back quick from it, it's probably him.
I'm just saying, if
Angelo,
they
Seth ain't gonna team up with a celebrity. It's gonna be Usos versus Logan.
I'm just saying.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. If they have to pivot, I'm not gonna be upset about it because
look, I'm not gonna hate on it as bad as other ideas.
That'll just make Backlash, which is gonna be the follow-up PLE, you know, a must-watch show based on that match alone. Unless they give it an extra day and have Seth and Braun.
Please, Braun Breaker, come back. Please be medically cleared.
It's like 12 weeks or something like that is like the recovery time. I don't know how long he's been out, but since like around 12 weeks
since like Rumble. So he might make it just in time, but we'll see.
Maybe.
Also, Seth Rollins versus Brock if they don't do the Oba thing, which they need to do Oba versus Brock.
We need Oba. The only match I want to see at WrestleMania is Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. That's it.
Yeah, me too. Else. But Drew McIntyre comes in, hits Cody with the championship, trying to help Randy. Randy hits Drew with the RKO. Cody gets Drew the crossroads, but then Randy strikes him with the RKO. 1, 2, 3. Randy is going to WrestleMania.
My
for
favorite spot in the entire fucking match, man. My favorite spot in the entire show. Like the sequence of events. Like you have Drew McIntyre, you know, fighting Cody, and then you have Randy Orton get involved or whatever. RKO to Drew McIntyre into a crossroads, into another RKO to Cody. 1, 2, 3. Like just the fluid motion of the entire sequence, bro. Like that's like movie type shit. Like that's my favorite spot of the entire fucking show.
I will tell you this: the men's chamber match as a whole really brought my rating for this PLE up tremendously. Because at first it was going to be just a mid 5, but it went from a 5 to an 8 for me just because of what they did in the main event here. Because I was not convinced Randy Orton was winning this match. I thought they were going to go with the route of Cody Rhodes. Jacob Fatu gets a random match on SmackDown against Drew McIntyre for the belt. McIntyre hits him with the title or low blow, disqualification. McIntyre tries to weasel his way out of it. Aldis says, nope, not happening. Triple threat, Mania. And then I thought Randy would maybe work with Trick because they were kind of teasing that a little bit. What better way to have your first WrestleMania match than with fucking 14-time world champion like Randy?
Yeah, I know.
But I'm glad I was wrong. And that's what really brought my rating up because I didn't expect Randy to actually strike because this is something that like is long-term storytelling here that they kind of cooked.
My if I had to give
I loved
show
it.
a rating, which I have not, if you were in my stream on Saturday, I did not give the show a rating.
Saved it for the pod.
But you know, I would have to say it was probably a 6 out of 10. Like the show
show
for the most part, it was decent for what it was, but it was just, bro, I can't get behind these 3-4 match shows, man. It's just because like the show's 3 hours. The show's 3 hours. The show's 3 hours. We have like probably an hour and a half of wrestling and then like another hour, 2 hours of fucking commercials and ads. And it's just, you know, like the men's chamber entrance, like from entrant number 1 to the last entrant of the chamber match was like almost 20 minutes. And those just entrances, not no fucking.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time. That's one thing I did notice, especially in the men's chamber. Like they did spend like 3 minutes each.
That's what happens when you only have a 4-match card with a fucking 3.5 hours, 3-hour show, however long it is. Like, you know, like I feel like these shows, like the least amount of matches you should have is maybe 6.
Agree.
A 6-match card, bro. Like that's perfect.
I've been saying this, dude. AEW has too many matches. WWE has too little matches, but TNA
AEW has like
given
14
us 7
matches on like per pay-per-view.
But I will say this though, as a fan that goes to the pay-per-views and PLEs, I feel like I do get my money's worth when I go to an AEW one. I mean, that's why I don't really get mad at the amount of matches.
I've never been to an AEW pay-per-view, but like I enjoy watching them. I don't enjoy not getting off a stream until 4 o'clock in the fucking morning.
But also, like, because I went to AEW World's End, and Yeah,
That was
they're-
the one in New York a couple of years ago. That was like one of the
Yep.
worst rated fucking AW pay-per-views ever.
got fucking Adam Copeland fucking spearing Nick fucking Wayne through a fucking flame table. Oh my god. But that's the thing though, like going there, being in the moment with like the pay-per-view, dude, like I'm not talking about it from like watching it like on like your screen. I'm talking about like you buy an actual physical ticket and you go to the show itself and you
Yep.
watch all these matches happening. Like the time just goes by and you are having a fucking blast. And the ticket is literally half the price of what you're paying for TKO in 4 matches. Like, man, they got to go back to like 5 or 6 fucking matches on the PLE.
They do because it's just like
It's a
have so
ripoff.
much. They have so much filler on the show for like commercials and like they make the entrances too fucking long and like and that's mainly to fill TV time because they don't have enough matches on the fucking card to fill a 3-hour show.
That is true. But overall, though, like, I don't blame you, though, for giving it a 6 out of 10. Like, if I were to go back, because I did rewatch Chamber, like, off air, I would give it probably a 7 out of 10. Because, obviously, the first half of the show was kind of weak. Didn't like that the Judgment Day weren't involved during the Finn and CM Punk thing. That really pissed me off. But that Men's Chamber, perfect booking.
I hate to
Great
say it,
job.
but there's only really 2 talking points of this entire show, and it was Danhausen and Randy Orton. Bro.
AJ Lee winning the title, I thought
That's
was
not a
pretty
talking point, though.
true.
Everybody's talking about how horrible that match was, especially like the build up of the match.
Okay, yeah, the build-up was bad. The match was
The
solid.
only 2 things on the entire show that people still talk about is Danhausen and Randy Orton. Because
Well, and Cody and Drew, too.
well,
Because they set that up for Friday.
But that didn't happen on the show. That happened during the post show.
I'm mad I missed it.
I mean, it was Nick Aldis looked like he was gonna fucking pop a blood vessel.
Oh, these GMs are doing a great job the past few weeks. Just want to say that. So, Adam Pierce, you don't need a drink. But is there anything else that you want to talk about before we close off this week's episode of the pod?
Yes.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I knew it. You were going to talk about it. Yep, there it is. Scream.
I saw Scream 7, man. Enjoyed it. Go watch
Was it worth all the hype?
It was. There was, things I liked about it, things I didn't like about it, but like it had the biggest opening weekend of any of the Scream movies. It made almost $100 million.
I'll tell you right now, Danny, what a missed fucking opportunity. You should have went on your reaction channel that's non-wrestling, and you should have done a review on the movie.
I know. I should.
You're a movie connoisseur, dude. You need to start capitalizing on that.
I know. I need to start doing something with the other channel.
I know it's tough
with
all the
I
live
got burnt
watch
out doing
alongs,
music
being a
reactions.
father.
Man.
I get it.
I got burnt out doing music reactions, so yeah.
Switch it up, man. Go back to the movies, man. But yeah, I think that's it for this week's episode of the pod, and I think we did a pretty damn good job keeping it under 3 hours. For you and I, with all the shit we talked about, under 3 hours is pretty fucking impressive.
And AEW is literally starting right now, so now people can go from watching this to watching AEW Dynamite if they choose.
Perfect timing.
You guys are welcome.
Well, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we appreciate you guys being with us this week on the We Are Wrestling Podcast, episode 198. Please smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already and you're listening to this episode on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your audio podcast shows, please leave We Are Wrestling a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download this episode and give us a follow. If you're not following We Are Wrestling over on Facebook, Instagram, X, or TikTok, go give us a follow on there. Instagram and TikTok, I am posting the video version of some of the reactions for the weekly shows. So that's just additional content that unfortunately you can't get here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. Also, you're getting podcast clips from our show, other shows, wrestling news, so much additional content. We have over almost 12,000 followers on Facebook. So if you guys are not following us on the social medias, go give us a follow. It's the best way to stay up to date with everything We Are Wrestling and the thing that you love that we talk about, and that is pro wrestling. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac, you're already over on the YouTube channel where you get the best pro wrestling content for free. No ad wall, none of that. You get a live podcast every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get live watch-alongs for all the WWE PLEs and AEW pay-per-views with the best one himself. Best way to interact with me. Also, you get reactions for the weekly shows, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. We might be adding TNA in there pretty soon. Maybe AEW will come back after Revolution. But you also get vlogs. You get free matches from Blitzkrieg Pro that We Are Wrestling sponsors. The best pro wrestling content. Highly recommend you guys to hit that subscribe button now. Turn on the post notifications. So much is happening here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. So close to 8,000 subs. Danny, I'm going to let you plug your stuff in the links.
Yeah, man. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything. Danny Huckins PW, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I will be live on Friday on my channel for SmackDown, and then I'm thinking about on Saturday going live for NXT Vengeance Day. It's a PLE that's going to be happening on Peacock. So if you guys have Peacock, you'll be able to watch along with me. It's not 100% confirmed, but I'm thinking about it. So.
All right, well, links down below for that. If you guys are into wrestling figures, toy hunts, I just did a whole studio video showing off a lot of my cool things because I spent a lot of time over the weekend putting stuff together. If you want to check out figure reviews, toy hunts, all that good stuff, you can go over to my channel, Best One Donnie. Links below. Also, my social medias are down there as well. And even We Are Wrestlings. So if you guys want to go get yourself a brand new We Are Wrestling is Unreal shirt, they are available now on ProWrestlingTees.com.
One of the coolest fucking shirts we have, man. So make sure you guys pick that up.
That's right. To celebrate my WWE debut with WWE Unreal Season 2, Episode 2, R-Truth. So to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we love each and every one of you guys. Danny and I will see you next week with episode 199.
2 weeks until we have Zach Gowen on the show. So make sure you guys throw that all over social media, post it, spread the word about it.
Tag him, baby. Let's go. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.